Hey folks, welcome back once again to Indab Africa. This is Chris coming to you live from central Pennsylvania. Welcome aboard. And that's an appropriate term here is we're going to celebrate the achievements in life of General Chuck Yeager, who passed away today at the age of 97. Seems my mother is in good company as she approaches the pearly gates, folks. She is in good company as she approaches the pearly gates. Chuck Yeager, wow, what a legend. What a legend. Hard to believe he's actually gone. He's been around so long with us that a lot of us didn't realize he was still here. The New York Slimes, and this time I'll call them properly by their proper name, the New York Times, did a fitting biography, obituary for him. Really well done. I'm going to take this, written by Richard Goldstein. I'm going to share some of Chuck Yeager's life with you guys, and so everybody gets to know about it. Welcome everybody in the stream. Merry Christmas to everybody. If you do a super chat today, you will get the Christmas bell. And yes, I am wearing rugby kit. This is the British and Irish Lions cap and this lovely overcoat. Not a jersey, but beautiful coat. Nice pockets on the side. Isn't that cool? Yeah, look at that. Anyway, nice, good quality stuff for the 2021 British and Irish Lions tour of South Africa. Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, folks, yeah, awesome stuff. So we have back there, in case you missed it, Chuck Yeager, rest in peace. Yeah, the Jägermeister. There you go. Going to talk a little bit about him. He's from West Virginia, folks. West by God, Virginia is where he grew up, a rural boy, and only a high school education. Joined the U.S. military in 1941 and was a mechanic for aviation, and then eventually became a pilot. We're going to talk about Chuck Yeager and about some more events taking place there. Jenny Vista says, so now is it net Afrikaans. Chris net Afrikaans. Well, welcome. Let's see. Let me say hi to everybody. Let me get the chat going here. I hadn't opened up a chat window because I was doing that. Still waiting for the flight to take place there, folks. The SpaceX flight. It's still not taking place. I don't know what's going on with that. Let me take a look here. It is still not taking place. Yeah, it is not taking place. I wonder if it's going to take place. It's supposed to launch at 4 p.m., I believe now, so we'll see if that actually happens. So hoping that that's going to happen. So we'll see. Let me get back to the other window. I think I lost that somewhere along the way. No, there it is. Okay. Just double check the load, make sure that it hasn't started. But if, in fact, the SpaceX launch of the Starship takes place during the stream, I will bring it to you live, folks. At the moment, they're still working on technical issues. I'm not sure what that was, but they reset the launch, so maybe the technical issues are done for 4 p.m. It's currently 2:41 on the East Coast, so 4 p.m. would be kind of late in South Africa, but we'll see. Good evening to Rick Hearn. Let me say hi to everybody here very quickly. Rainer Dutoy is here at the meeting. Gareth, welcome to you. Fred Hinaud, Teresa Bauman, Jenny Visser, Sean Mendich. Yeah, now he's breaking the light speed barrier in the sky. Indeed. Yep. And then Ron von Reimann, Bram Janssen von Rensburg. We're getting close to the 16th of December. Ron von Reimann. And then we've got Reimann. We've got Ginaldo Roses here. Luis Vista's here. Tian, I was talking aviation earlier. You missed it. Shame. And then Ronald van der Spoel is here. Welcome to you from Bloemfontein. And we've got, who else? Game Bread, Invictus. Glad to see you here. Is Mareka here? Did I miss Mareka? I don't see Mareka. Where's Mareka at? Oh, there's Mareka. Chuck Yeager was a freaking pioneer. He was, Mareka. Unbelievable. Game Bread is here. Ronald Gans is here. Good evening to Ronell. Thank you for the cherry blossom. By the way, folks, if you're a member of Chris White Africa, you get access to custom emojis. I need to take a look and see if I can change an emoji and maybe put a Christmas tree in there. It's time to put that up, I think. Yep, just tuned in again. Chuck Yeager was an aviation pioneer and legend. Hey, Karen, good to see you there. Welcome. Right, let me just go through some of the stuff. Tom Wolfe, the author who wrote the book The Right Stuff, for which the movie was made off of, said that General Yeager, Brigadier General Yeager, was the most righteous of all the possessors of the right stuff. Now, General Yeager himself took exception to the phrase the right stuff. Because in his view, it seemed to imply you were born with this ability. But he said he worked hard, and I'll talk about that as we come along in this conversation. But yeah, it seems fitting that on a day that SpaceX has a launch, that we're talking about an aviation pioneer who played a big role in making space flight possible. And so let's continue with that. So Chuck was the most famous of the test pilots, and he was the first to break the sound barrier. He's passed away in Los Angeles today at the age of 97. Oh, I'm sorry, yesterday. It was Monday. Oh, so he passed away on the same day as my mother. Wow, they went the same day. My apologies. So he didn't pass away today. He passed away yesterday. For some reason, didn't get that. So he passed away. Wow, that's astounding, folks. The same day as my mother. Of course, for my mother, it was Sunday night, 1 a.m. in the morning, so she went just before he did. But came out of the hills of West Virginia with only a high school education, and he became a fighter pilot, an ace in the Second World War, shot down 5 German planes in the same day. Yep, a total of 13, which of course 5 makes you an ace. He became an ace in a single day, but shot down 13 total. And during his career, he helped usher in the age of military jets and space flight and flew more than 150 different military aircraft. 150 aircraft, logged more than 10,000 hours in the air. Wow, folks. His signal achievement, which he's most known for, which he wasn't known for at the time because the military covered it up, a consequence of the Cold War competition between the Soviet Union and the United States. They didn't want the Soviets to know that we had broken the sound barrier, so they covered up his signature achievement, which occurred on October 14th, 1947, when he climbed out of a B-29 bomber as it was over the Mojave Desert of California, and he entered the cockpit of an orange bullet-shaped rocket-powered experimental plane attached to the bomb bay. That was the Bell X-1 aircraft, and that was at 23,000 feet when he climbed into that, basically a rocket, and then it reached 43,000 feet above the desert, and he reached a speed of 700 miles per hour, breaking the sound barrier and dispelling the long-held fear that most engineers concerned that any plane flying past the sound barrier would break apart. So that was a real fear. So you got to think about this, ladies and gentlemen. It took a great deal of courage for Chuck Yeager to do that. I mean, think about it. No one had ever done it. And all the engineers are saying if a plane flies faster than the speed of sound, the concussion is going to break the plane apart. No one knew if that was true or not. Chuck Yeager, fearless, climbed into that cockpit and flew the X-1 at 700 miles per hour and broke the speed of sound and proved that it was not the case. Something else. But, he told in his best-selling memoir, Yeager, which was 1985, he said that it was a bit of a letdown. He was expecting something else to happen. He was kind of let down. Chuck Yeager was a bit surprised by what didn't happen when he broke the sound barrier. He was expecting more. So let me tell you specifically, he said that he was quoted, he said, "There should have been a bump in the road, something that lets you know that you just punched a nice clean hole through the sonic barrier. The unknown was a poke through jello." Later on, I realized that this mission had to end in a letdown because the real barrier wasn't in the sky, but in our knowledge and experience of supersonic flight. Now, nonetheless, this achievement is right up there with the Wright brothers' first flight at Kitty Hawk back in 1903, Lindbergh's solo flight across the Atlantic, landing in Paris in 1927, and is an epic event in aviation history. His X-1 plane was he christened it the Glamorous Glennis, which was named after his first wife. That was put on display at the Smithsonian Institution in 1950. Yeah, pretty cool stuff, yeah. He said that this feat put him in the headlines briefly, but it wasn't until Tom Wolfe's book, The Right Stuff, came out in 1979 that he became a national celebrity and a hero to Americans who didn't know about all his achievements. He did some amazing things. But he didn't like being about the right stuff, because he said that in his memoir, he said that he was annoyed when people asked him if he had the right stuff, since he felt it implied it was a talent he was born with. And as he said, "All I know," I quote General Chuck Yeager, "all I know is I worked my tail off learning how to fly and worked hard at it all day. If there's such a thing as the right stuff in piloting, then it's experience. The secret to my success was that somehow I always managed to live and fly another day." Well, that's humble. That's well said. Well said. Good evening to everyone. Who else we got here? Sean is here. Janota Rose. Grim. He was an adrenaline junkie. Yeah, he was. You have to be to do that sort of thing, folks. You really do. You really do. Charles Elwood Yeager was born on the 13th of February, 1923 in Myra, West Virginia. He was the second of 5 children of Albert and Susie Mae Sizemore Yeager. He grew up in nearby Hamlin, a town of about 400, not too far from where my ancestors lived, where his father drilled for natural gas in the coal fields. By the time he was 6, Chuck was shooting squirrels and rabbits and skinning them for family dinners, reveling in a country boy's life. Boy, that sounds all familiar, folks. Sounds a little bit like my life. Not at the age of 6, a little bit older than that, but same sort of thing. Shooting squirrels and rabbits and living a life on the farm. Yeah, good stuff. DeVault says, "I just went and read Chuck Yeager's Wikipedia page. What a story." Yeah, this is why we're paying tribute to Chuck Yeager today, folks, because a lot of people, even to this day, don't know what an amazing guy he really was. So Sam Shepard played him in the Right Stuff movie, and Sam Shepard's what a great actor. So he enlisted in the Army Air Forces out of high school in September of 1941 and became an airplane mechanic like my grandfather, except my grandfather did that in 1920, so about 20 years ahead of him. Isn't that amazing? Chuck Yeager just died at 97, and he was born after my grandfather. So wow, 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 wow. My grandfather would have been 100 this year. Would have been 100 in April. But my grandfather was also an aviation pioneer, but nowhere near as famous as Chuck Yeager. My grandfather, Owen Truman Wyatt, was the lead engineer on the tail assembly of the Saturn V rocket. That's the one that took the Apollo missions into space, and until recently was the launch rocket for NASA's program. The Saturn V stuck with us for decades. My grandfather was the lead engineer in the tail assembly of that at Redstone Arsenal. So yeah, but Chuck Yeager, a bit more famous than my grandfather, but also an aviation pioneer. So he joined in September 41 out of high school, became a mechanic. And then my grandfather also became a pilot too, but joined as mechanic. He later joined a flight program for enlisted men in July of 42. And he became appointed as a flight officer in March of 43 and commissioned as second lieutenant after he arrived in England for training. Yep. In 2016, he was asked on Twitter what made him want to become a pilot. Now, you're going to love this, gentlemen. You're going to love this. Chuck Yeager, General Chuck Yeager, died yesterday, the same day my mother passed away. So she went in good company at the age of 97, and we're celebrating Chuck Yeager's life here on this stream. It's not entirely about that on the stream, but we're just starting out the stream showing a little respect for Chuck Yeager. I see on the screen you guys can't see the Chuck Yeager sign because the logo is up there. Let me turn off. Let me move that a little bit. That's odd. So, is that better? Is that worse? I think that's worse, actually. Here you go. There we go. There you go. All right, that's better. That's better. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, let's put that where you can actually see it. I apologize. That was covered up by that logo down there. So there you go. Chuck Yeager, rest in peace. So we're celebrating Chuck Yeager's life. Yep. Well, thanks for jumping in stream there and sharing that with us, Brett. Brett's late. It was not a super chat, but we'll welcome Brett. Welcome to the stream. Merry Christmas, Brett. So yeah, anyway, in 2016, General Yeager was asked on Twitter what made him want to become a pilot. You're going to love this, gentlemen. I was in maintenance, saw the pilots had beautiful girls on their arms, didn't have dirty hands, so I applied. I love it. That's cheeky. That's sassy. I love it. General Yeager. He saw that the pilots had beautiful women on their arms and didn't have dirty hands. I'm loving that. Loving that. Well, thank you, Jenny. Thank you for the condolences of my mom. Yeah, she passed away Sunday night, actually Monday morning at 1 a.m. Yeah, the 7th of December. He flew P-51 Mustangs in the European theater during World War II. In March of 44, on his 8th mission, he was shot down over France by a German fighter. He parachuted in the woods and with leg and head wounds, but he was hidden by the French resistance, the underground, and he managed to make it to neutral Spain by climbing the snowy Pyrenees, carrying a severely wounded flyer with him and returned to his base in England. Now, back in those times, folks, if you were shot down as a pilot, they didn't put you back in the air. They're not going to tempt fate. But he pled, and he kept arguing that he should go back in action. It was granted. October 12th, 1944, after he was back in the air, after recovering, he led 3 fighter squadrons escorting bombers over Bremen, and he shot down 5 German planes. Became an ace in a single day. That's incredible. Only a few pilots like Hans Rudel in Germany and others ever achieved such status, but 5 aircraft in a single day. In November, he shot down another 4 planes in one day. So 9 of the 13 planes he shot down were just in 2 days of combat. It's insane. He was assigned to Murik Air Force Base, which later became Edwards Air Force Base, which is what it is today. We know it as Edwards Air Force Base. He was chosen over more senior pilots to fly the Bell X-1 in a quest to break the sound barrier. And when he set out to do it, he could have barely moved because he broke 2 ribs a couple of nights earlier when he crashed into a fence while he's racing his wife on horseback in the desert. So he's horseback riding, had 2 broken ribs, and with 2 broken ribs, Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier. Wow. Now, as I said, the Air Force kept this a secret. They didn't want the Soviets to know about this, and so they didn't tell anybody about it. However, in December of 47, that's a bit after he actually did it. What's the date I gave? It was 46. He actually originally broke the sound barrier. Or was it 47? What was the date? But anyway, yeah, it was October 47, but it wasn't until December of 47, it's a few months later, that Aviation Week, so just a few months later, Aviation Week revealed the sound barrier had been broken. But the Air Force didn't recognize it or publicly announce it until June of 48, probably much to their chagrin. And then he became kind of a celebrity at the national level, but it didn't really carry on for long until Tom Wolfe's book, The Right Stuff, came out in 1979. In December 49, it was renamed Edwards Air Force Base, and in December 53, he flew the X-1A at nearly 2.5 times the speed of sound after barely surviving a spin, setting a world record. Yeah, he was assigned Okinawa in 53. He commanded a fighter wing during the Vietnam War, holding the rank of colonel. He flew 127 missions, piloting the B-57 light bombers. And then he was later head of aerospace safety for the Air Force, retired as a brigadier general in 1975. He had Distinguished Service Medal, the Silver Star of the Legion of Merit. I have the Legion of Merit. Distinguished Flying Cross, the Bronze Star. Received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian award from Ronald Reagan, 1985. Yep. NASA's Administrator Jim Bridenstone described his death in a statement as a tremendous loss. Astronaut Scott Kelly called him a true legend. Yep, he became a familiar face in commercials, made a lot of public appearances. He flew F-15s. Can you imagine that? Wow. Broke the sound barrier again on the 50th and 55th anniversaries of his pioneering flight. And he was a passenger on an F-15, another breaking the sound barrier to commemorate the 65th anniversary. So he flew F-15s 50 years after he broke the sound barrier, 55 years after he broke the sound barrier, and then was a passenger on his 65th anniversary. Just unbelievable, folks. He had 4 children with his first wife, Glennis. She died in 1990. In 2003, he married Victoria D'Angelo, survived by his wife, 2 daughters, Susan Yeager, Sharon Yeager Flick, and his son. In his memoir, he wrote that through his years as a pilot, he made sure to learn everything I can learn about my airplane and my emergency equipment. Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Yep. He said, I was always afraid of dying, always. That's a humble guy. Brigadier General Chuck Yeager, dead at 97 on the 7th of December, 2020, folks. My mother went out in good company. She also passed away yesterday on December 7th. And there you have it, folks. Chuck Yeager. Pretty impressive, huh? What a life. What an amazing life. What a life of accomplishment. We lost a good one there. 97. Wow. Good deal. I'll take that. That's 40 plus more years. I'll take that. Also flew the North Korean MiG-15 after. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He did fly the MiG-15. Thank you, Brett. I didn't mention that's true. He flew the MiG-15 back in the 50s. Yep. All right, let me catch up in the chat here very quickly, see who's here. Got a smaller audience tonight. I guess people are bored. Let's see what we got here. So, Rainier, Gareth, Fredenau, Jenny Visser, Sean, I already did all that. Rick Heron. Let me catch back up here. Colonel, hopefully today we may view one of your military medals, the story behind the award, or even one of your grandfather's awards. Thanks for your service. Pursue the better world. I wasn't prepared for that, Invictus. I wasn't prepared to talk about military awards. I've done that before. People ask me to talk about the awards that I've gotten. Look, they're not war hero awards. They're just accomplishments and achievements that are recognized. Lots of people have accomplishments and achievements that are never recognized, and some of my bigger ones were never recognized. Some were. Awards are a tricky thing. Oftentimes people earn them and they don't get them. In fact, we just saw that Lieutenant Cushing, the lieutenant who led the artillery battery, which was at the center of Pickett's charge, the Battle of Gettysburg on the 3rd of July, 1863, was finally awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor just the past couple of years. It's insane. Well over a century after, 150 years after the Battle of Gettysburg, he was finally awarded that for his actions that took place there. So, yeah, sometimes people's accomplishments or achievements are recognized. Sometimes they're not. And sometimes it's just, everybody gets a medal sort of thing. But, I would say that the decorations and awards that I received were all warranted. They were for things that were achieved, and I got things for things that I worked on, and some things I didn't get recognized for, and that's fine. But as far as medals go, yeah, I have more than the average bear. I have like 21 decorations, and one of those I have 9 different citations on it. So 9 times that thing was awarded. So yeah, the last and the highest achievement that I have when it comes to decorations is the Legion of Merit, which I received on retirement. So you're actually part of something, the Legion of Merit, which is pretty cool. So I am in that with General Chuck Yeager. So General Yeager, safe winds and smooth sailing. Anyway, there you go. So pretty cool stuff. So we can talk about it sometime if somebody wants. I don't usually like to talk about that because it's like, Ronaldo comes on, you keep talking your biography, people get tired of hearing that. Yeah, but the deal is, folks, is when I have new people watching the stream who are not familiar with the channel, and we have them come in and they don't know who they're talking to, they don't know who they're talking, there's some dude with a beard, he looks like Pete Retief. they don't know who they're talking to or what it's about, and they don't take the time to go check into me. I mean, I don't look up the biographies of a lot of people on YouTube, because most people on YouTube are just, people that got on there, if either they're a celebrity we know, or they're just someone who decided to make a YouTube channel, and maybe their story is interesting, maybe it's not, but they're not known. But so Ronaldo was giving me grief because I was doing that, but the thing is, when I was doing that is when I had lots of people tune in for an event, and I would mention it. And then I would pick up a lot of subscribers. And since I stopped talking about my biography, I don't get those big growth in subscribers. So, you know what, Ronaldo? I'm not going to listen to your advice anymore. I do my own thing. But, Invictus, I'm happy to talk about it. But ask another question about it, and I'd be happy to talk about it. But I don't just generally talk about it because it's not really, I don't like braggarts. But there's nothing wrong with with sharing your accomplishments or your achievements. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind doing that, but some people will take offense. Oh, it's, whatever. That's why, that is only because during the time pilots can make lucrative careers, the airline pilots, once they leave the military, that's why women were all over the pilots. Maybe. Let's see what else. We got Flip Duplessis here. Olga's back. Welcome to you. I'm fine. Thank you. The fact that the X-1's wings didn't break off was extraordinary. Remember, very little wind tunnels and testing was available. That's true, Tian. Yeah, no, he took a huge risk. Chuck Yeager took a huge risk. It's easy to say, yeah, but no. This was the unknown. And it was a lot more dangerous than Wilbur and Orville Wright at Kitty Hawk, who flew a plane a few feet off the ground at a few miles per hour. This was very serious. If the worst they would have done is broke a few bones. They would have survived crashing that plane. Yep. So John DeClerc is here. Good to see you again. White Diamond Child, welcome you. Tom is on the net. There you are, Tom. Why have you been scarce lately, Tom? Did you find the content boring? What's going on? Or you just been busy? Ronaldo has beard envy. He does, John. He does. He does have beard envy. Remember, this is your channel. We're here to listen. Well, thank you, Choco Gamer. Well, are you here to listen to my decorations? Guys want to hear about that? So I actually brought down my ribbon board one time. We went through it and talked about it in one of the streams. But, so I have campaign medals, of course, for having served in different campaigns. Luis says, the difference between your stream and other YouTube channels is that you're like a family member, not just another guy. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Luis, and I appreciate that. And not referencing Luis's comment, but in fact, this is like a family, and the chat oftentimes is like a family with misbehaving children behaving in the chat sometimes. So I couldn't resist that, guys. I couldn't resist that. Anyway, so let's see what else we got here. So Gamebrain says, Colonel, you've achieved a magnificent career. Well, thank you so much. But I'm not done, folks. We're just getting started. There's more to come. I am truly looking forward to seeing if this Afrikaans language channel launches next year, and if I have a program on there, which is what's in the cards for the moment. I really look forward to that. I'd be excited to be a regular broadcaster in South Africa on a network. That'd be so exciting. And I don't know if the Sirius XM thing is going to happen. I have a feeling it's not, but that would be really cool too. And then when I come to South Africa, I'll be treating it as research and also as news reporting. I'll be doing lots of videos of my travels, talking about places. So it'll be travel things, historical things, also covering events. Crazy stuff. Oh, guys, any insight in General Lloyd Austin indicated for Secretary of Defense in the illegitimate Biden administration? Yeah, I know General Austin. He's fine. He's fine. I don't know if he's a deep stater. We'll see. But as an Army officer, he was fine. Nothing wrong with that. He's black. Wow. Joe Biden managed to find someone who's black for his administration. Well done, Joe. Well done. You've discovered black people exist. Who reminded him? Was it Kamala? She's not African-American. She's actually Indian/Caribbean. So maybe she reminded him. On the net, I have a downgrade MSM. Does that count? It does. So what was it downgraded to an Army Commendation Medal? I have Army Meritorious Service Medals, Defense Meritorious Service Medals. Yep. It does count, Tom. It does. But Tom, you know what I'm talking about, right? It depends who you work for and the environment. So when I was in the first Gulf War, basically everybody in my battalion that was a captain above automatically got a Bronze Star. The exceptions to that were the mortar platoon leader and the scout platoon leader, who also got them. The mortar platoon leader got a Army Commendation with a V device for valor. And that was it. The chaplain, who was a captain, got a Bronze Star. I was second lieutenant. I didn't get one. Not sour milk, not spilled beans. But what it told me is that was just an automatic thing. That wasn't because people earned it. And so to me, it cheapened the Bronze Star. So I didn't get a Bronze Star in the first Gulf War, and I didn't earn one. So I'm fine not getting one. Virtually no one in my battalion earned one. There were exceptions. We had a Silver Star awardee. That was the commander of Alpha Company, whose unit engaged the Talon Division at a critical moment in the battlefield when there was no one else available. They were sent and went straight across the line of fire in front of our brigade and engaged the Talon Division and saved the day in many respects. I sat there and watched it as mortars exploded around me. From my M577 armored personnel carrier command track. And I had an extension cord that ran about 30 feet, and I was outside the track standing there. I actually had my Kevlar off, probably not the smartest thing, as mortar rounds exploded around me, but I actually watched them across the front. But Captain McDaniel was his name. I don't know what he retired as. I imagine he probably became a colonel, who knows. But Captain McDaniel was the commander. He was awarded Silver Star for combat action. It was probably deserved. And the scout platoon leader got a Bronze Star. That was deserved. The scouts did a lot. But, yeah, it cheapened the Bronze Star for me. And so it was kind of like I was there, I got one. Not me, but, I mean, that's kind of what the medal was. It's really unfortunate because it's a decoration that should be awarded for a very specific purpose. And I didn't, so Gulf War kind of cheapened it for me. But, yeah. Terry 1 says, when Chuck visited South Africa in 2010, he met with General Dennis Arap, who was a legend of South Africa. Yeah, I bet that was cool. Yeah. And then Brett says, I can return to your channel as a guest and talk about how many African-American views on Africa have contributed to corruption and human rights abuses. I don't understand that point. Might be the jaw pain. I'm not sure. Brett says, George Atiye notes in his book that many African-American leaders fail to condemn corruption in Africa. It leads to many corrupt leaders staying in power. I don't think that African Americans not condemning corrupt behavior in Africa has anything to do with corrupt leaders staying in power in Africa. I think Africans allowing corrupt leaders to rule their countries is why we have corrupt leaders in Africa. People need to stand up for the right, and they don't. The only thing in life that truly belongs to us is our decisions. Ooh, Larsalis, that's very profound. Thank you for sharing that. And then our decisions only belong to us because we choose to be different. Yeah. This is a cool stream, folks, between the discussion about General Yeager, you guys contributing to the conversation. It's pretty cool. It's a shame more people aren't tuned in. Lisa Janssen is here. Hello, Lisa Janssen. Hello to you. Pleasure. I don't think I've seen you comment much, so welcome to you there. Ginaldo Rose, who do you want to see playing James Bond 007? Robert Pattinson? No. Henry Cavill? No. Tom Hiddleston? No. There's my answer. Robert Pattinson? No way. That goofy looking, weird looking, vampire movie guy? No. Henry Cavill? Maybe. I'll tell you who would be really good at, but he doesn't have a British accent. But he's got the right look. He's got the right demeanor. He's a bit getting up there in years, so he couldn't do too many of these. But Caviezel, that's the guy that did the Passion of Christ, and he did the what's that surveillance show that was on. I can't remember, but Jim Caviezel, that guy would be an awesome Bond, but he doesn't have the British accent. I don't know if he could pull off a British accent, but you don't need one. We've had Australian, we've had Irish accents, Scottish accents. Chris Wyatt, 007, Charlize Theron. No, Charlize Theron, no. She needs to be arrested for child abuse and child endangerment. That's what needs to happen to Charlize Theron. Tian says the next James Bond will likely be a woman of color. We'll see. Charlize Theron went all brain dead, and she is a danger to her child. And she should be arrested for child endangerment. Just saying. Yeah, so, hey, Kieran, good to see you there once again. Yeah, so let me check on the flight, folks. It's supposed to be at 4 o'clock, which is now less than an hour. Let me double check and make sure it has not happened. A lot of people have been getting teased all day. I've seen other channels where they just do space stuff, and they've been sitting there with a rocket on the launch pad for hours. Nothing yet, folks. Still not happening. Yep, so we'll see. Yeah, General Chuck Yeager, folks. Amazing guy. 97 years of age. Wow. Isn't it ironic he died on the day that the United States was drawn into the Second World War, which he enlisted in the Army for? Army Air Corps, December 7th. There's some irony there. Isn't that wild? What did she do to her kids? Kieran Jeffrey, she has a black child she adopted, and she's encouraged and pushed that child into being transgender. I guess the little boy wanted to play with a doll, and she said, "Oh, you're a girl." And that's child abuse. You don't let a child develop naturally. Jenny had a typo. What was Jenny? ID. Typos happen, Jenny, especially on mobile phones. It is sick, Ron. There are genuine transgenders out there, but there's a really sick. I tried to get a guest on here, a woman who wrote a book about this industry here in America, where the especially at universities are brainwashing young women into getting transgender surgery and taking testosterone, telling them that there's something wrong with them. They're actually males. that they're transgender, and the number of cases of transgenderism have jumped exponentially in America, especially young women. And what they're doing is they're destroying women. They're destroying women, and most of these women aren't transgender. They just are having difficulty adjusting to life, and they're vulnerable, and they're being snatched up in this industry, being perpetrated by these frauds at universities and trying to get people to do this transgender stuff. It's really scary. The woman, I can't think of her name right now, she wrote a book on this. I wanted to get her as a guest on my program, but I haven't gotten around to that. I would love to do that because it's really sick. It's truly sick. Now, I'm not talking about somebody who's genuinely transgender. There are genuine people out there, but the percentage is a small fraction of less than 1% of the population. But we're seeing numbers, astronomical numbers of young women being pushed into taking testosterone, affecting their development, getting mastectomies, and having sex changes, and some of them becoming suicidal, their lives destroyed as a consequence of this, all because someone pushed them in that direction. It's sick. It's an industry here in America now, and it's sick. And what Charlize Theron has done with her child is criminal. It's absolutely criminal. And the fact that she's not arrested is disgusting. She should not have that child. Invictus says space launches are like war, a lot of nothing, and then sudden burst of fire and smoke. That's true. That is true. EFF should occupy her house. She does fit the Dems' values. That's why they love her. Don't waste your time with James Bond and Thrawn. James Bond and Thrawn. That's good. So Charlize Theron, far away from anything to do with human rights or anymore. It's just she's bad news. I agree. She's dangerous, and she lost her appeal as an actress a long time ago, folks. The movies she does are pretty lame now. She had some good ones for a while there, but when she gained all that weight and looked like that thug, that was kind of the end of her appeal. That was the end of it. James Thrawn. Who's James Thrawn? Yeah. Meanwhile, folks, South Africans are mourning the passing of Dawn Lindberg. Here you go, folks. A very famous. Whoops. Come on. Come back. Where's it at? Whoa. Where'd it go? Come on. There it is. There you go. South Africa mourns the passing showbiz legend Dawn Lindberg. Theater legend has passed away from COVID-related complications in Plettenberg Bay on the 7th of December. Another gone on the 7th of December. She was chief executive and founder of the Naledi Theatre Awards, one of the biggest and most prestigious theater awards in South Africa. Yep, unfortunately, Dawn passed away from COVID-related illness late last night. Family's devastated, being one half of the Des and Dawn Lindberg phenomenon. Her husband, Des, is still in Plettenberg Bay, and we're really sad for him because he wasn't able to see her towards the end. With a career spanning over 5 decades as a singer, actress, and theater director, she started a career after graduating from Wits in the early 1960s. In 1962, she met her husband, a longtime partner in music and theater, Des, and they formed the folk duo Des and Dawn. After tying the knot in 1965, they bought a caravan and hit the road for 3 years. Now, folks, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of their music was banned back by the apartheid government in the 1960s. Their first album was all confiscated and destroyed. So their first album, Folk on Trek, was banned on the grounds of impropriety because of dubious lyrics to the nursery rhyme Mary Had Little Lamb and the Negro spiritual Day's Bones Gonna Rise Again. In spite of their effort to appeal, they lost all the case and all copies of the album were destroyed. In 1973, they produced the musical Godspell, the first multiracial show to be staged in South Africa. Yep. Amazing. So she's passed away. I did see that TV producer and presenter Alan Ford paid tribute to her. He said, he wrote on Facebook, "My beautiful friend, I can't believe you passed away. I just spoke to you last week. You're a legend in the arts. Your contribution to the industry is invaluable. I miss you, but you always love you. To Desh, Josh, Adam Z, and all the families, my deepest sympathies. We love you, Dawn Lindberg. Dance and sing with the angels. Please, everyone, COVID's real, and we've lost another person through it." Yes, COVID is real. It is real. I'm sorry, Alan. Alan Ford, COVID is real, but the scam-demic is not real. It's not real. She's 75 years old. She was elderly and a person that we would have protected if we followed proper pandemic protocols. You isolate the vulnerable and protect them. You quarantine the infected. You don't ask them to self-quarantine. You force them into quarantine until they are cured. And then you allow others to get back to business. So yes, we lost another one. Stop using this for political purposes, Alan Ford. That's disgraceful of you. I don't want to hear it. Our own audience right here, people on here, we have one of our own who is currently tested positive for COVID. She told us earlier that was Laura Fry. Laura's positive for COVID. She's home resting right now. It is real. No one, well, some people deny it. I don't deny it. But yeah, transgenderism is big business in Australia. Masherette missions is also big business here in the United States. Talk about how what's a good film to learn about Charles Yeager does The Right Stuff. Invictus, you got to watch The Right Stuff. That is the movie to watch. That movie, Sam Shepard plays General Yeager in that movie. You got to watch it. The Right Stuff is the movie to watch. Does Mel Gibson still direct and produce most pictures? He does. He's also one of the most talented actors, Invictus, but they blackballed Mel Gibson, but he still does produce movies. Yep. So, yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Hey, Peter Dutoy, welcome to you. Good to see you there. And absolutely. So, Invictus, no, sorry, Abigail Schreier, Chris Author. What? That's the one. That's, okay, thank you. Thank you, Hendo. That's Abigail Schreier. That's the one I'm thinking of. That's the author. Yeah, I want to get her on the channel and talk to her about this. So, you know the book I'm talking about, don't you? You know the book I'm talking about, don't you, Hendo? You're all over it, man. That's what I'm talking about. I'd like to get her as a guest on there. Let me see. Hang on a second. Abigail Schreier. That's the one. Yeah, let me get it. Irreversible Damage, the Transgender Craze. That's it. That's the one, folks. Yep. Transgender Craze, Seducing. Oh, come on. Get out of the way. I don't want that. Oh, come on. What is with this stupid thing? Google. Irreversible Damage, the Transgender Craze, Seducing Our Daughters. Yep. Yeah, let me read to you just a little excerpt from it, folks. Until just a few years ago, gender dysphoria, severe discomfort in one's biological sex, was vanishingly rare. It was typically found in less than 0.01% of the population, emerged in early childhood, and affected males almost exclusively. But today, whole groups of female friends in colleges, high schools, and even middle schools across the country are coming out as transgender. These are girls who never experienced any discomfort in their biological sex until they heard a coming out story from a speaker at a school assembly or discovered the internet community of trans influencers. Unsuspecting parents are waking to find their daughters in thrall to hip trans YouTube stars and gender-affirming educators and therapists who push life-changing interventions. There you go, Abigail Schreier. She's a writer for the Wall Street Journal. That's right. Thank you for that, Hendo. That's what I'm talking about, Abigail Schreier. I want to get her on the channel. I've reached out. I sent a message, but she's got a publishing agent, so I haven't heard from her. Irreversible Damage. That's the one. Mel Gibson will direct a sequel to The Passion of the Christ. That would be awesome. I didn't know that, Terry. Thank you for sharing that. And then the one says, sorry to change the topic, but do you think ancient soldiers developed PTSD? Of course they did. Of course they did. Post-traumatic stress disorder is not a modern development. Anyone that suffers that kind of trauma, of course, and it's not just, PTSD is not it's just not associated with soldiers. People who've been raped, gang rapes, severe violence, people who observe atrocities. Yeah, it affects all kinds of people. It's very much associated with soldiers as a consequence of Vietnam. In the Second World War, it was called shell shock, but PTSD is very real. It is very real, folks. Jenny Fish says, I think it's the thing, being gay or transgender. It is in thing. It's the in thing. Yeah, that's the problem. It's the in thing. It's not real for many people. It's real for some, and we're damaging lives with this. It's utter nonsense. It's absolutely crazy. It's an industry. Good night, White Diamond Child. Sorry to see you go. Do not like the topic, or is something off the mark here? Anyway, back to Dawn Lindberg. That's what I was talking about, folks. So here's another on her. Dawn Lindberg, darling of South African theater, died at age 75 from COVID-19. There she is with her husband, Des. Yep. Tributes poured in after news broke that Dawn Lindberg had died of COVID-19 complications at the age of 75. The doyen of South African theater and entertainer was also the founder and CEO of Naledi Theater Awards. Yep. There you go, folks. She tested positive, and she was in quarantine, and 6 days later she passed away. Wow. Folk singer, huge success, the catchy tune, Die Rhizome van de Bij, The Buzz, the Bees. Yep. Couple went in to form the duo Des and Dawn more than 50 years ago. Wow. There you go. Here's a picture of them from back in the day, folks. Check that one out. Wow, that's a long time ago. And there they are in 2015. Not all that long ago. Wow. Anyway, it's sad when people pass away, folks, but there you go. So, Marguerite de la Harpe, rest in peace, Dawn Lindberg, a legendary performing South African artist who was once my neighbor. Wow. Did you know her, Marguerite? Did you talk to her? I mean, some people don't see their neighbors, especially in South Africa where you're behind barbed wire and walls. Did you have conversations with Dawn? Did you ever hear her singing next door? I'm curious. Please share if you don't mind. It's a trend. That's right. Things are trending, and that's the problem. The one. Thank you for that. Back to war movies. Nobody remembered Kelly's Heroes, where Eagles Dare and Bridge Too Far. No, I said A Bridge Too Far when we talked about this the first time, not yesterday, but we talked about war movies previously, and I said A Bridge Too Far was great. Also said The Longest Day was a great film. I really enjoyed Longest Day. And then what's the one with Gregory Peck? High Noon, is that the one? That's an amazing film. I think it's High Noon. I'm trying to remember Gregory Peck movies. Let me see if I can find that really quick here, folks. Oh, I don't have any windows over here. I'll be darned. So let me see that. Gregory Peck, I think it's High Noon. That was an amazing film. I used to use, if that's the movie I'm thinking of, so Gregory Peck, High Noon. Yep, it is High Noon. I think it's High Noon. Let me see. Oh, 12 O'Clock High. Sorry, 12 O'Clock High. That is a brilliant film, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. Let me get that over here. I'm going to pull that up over here. 12 O'Clock High is brilliant. Amazing war film. That one I used to use as a teaching lesson for my students at in ROTC. MF says, I have CDs from her. Love her music. Guns of Navarone. Yeah, that was good. It was good. The Dirty Dozen was good. Back to one. Okay. Yes, inviting me over. I played more music than they did. Are you serious, Marguerite? Wow. Oh, you're a musician. Maybe we should invite you in to sing during our Christmas program. Yeah, Guns of Navarone. We have no influence over the towel. Okay. All right, so here you go, 12 O'Clock High. This was, I'll get this one up on the screen. This is Wikipedia, just for a short, save trouble here. But Wikipedia, here you go. There you go, 12 O'Clock High, folks, starring Gregory Peck. Story of 12 men as their women never knew them. Daryl Zanuck production from 20th Century Fox. This was a great movie, folks. This was about a unit that took severe casualties bombing Germany, and they just kept going back, and their commander trying to piece together it was an underperforming unit. Yeah, it says a 49 war film about the air crews in the 8th Air Force who flew daylight bombing missions and the early days of American involvement. Let's see what else here. Nominated for 4 Academy Awards and won 2. Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Dean Yeager and Best Sound Recording. Yep. It was selected in 1998 for preservation by the United States National Film Registry and Library of Congress, being culturally historic or aesthetically significant. Yep, there you go. Yep. Awesome stuff. 12 O'Clock High. That was a great movie. What else we got here? Somebody leaving? You guys are saying hi to each other, okay? Cool. So 12 O'Clock High was an amazing film, folks. Jim Caviezel is American, unless you already mentioned it, because Bonds are usually British, Irish, Scots, who don't know about Wells. Yeah, I know he's American. That's why I said I don't know if he can do a British accent, but he would be a brilliant James Bond. The guy's got the timing. He's got the look. He's got the sex appeal. He's got all the stuff you need in Bond except for the British accent. So there you go. Yep. And that's what I said. I said all the rest of them have been English, Scots, and Irish. So, of course, Pierce Brosnan is Irish. And then Sean Connery, whom we also just lost. Wow, a lot of good people going this year. And a lot of them not because of COVID, just because. Sean Connery died this year. Wow. No computer graphics, and when smoking was still cool. Yeah. You watch all those old movies. By the way, folks, last night I couldn't sleep for a bit, and so I wanted to watch Casablanca. I love Casablanca, one of my all-time favorite films. And I didn't watch that till the last decade. I got through a good portion of my life here and never saw Casablanca. Finally watched it in the last decade. And I'm a huge Humphrey Bogart fan. Casablanca's brilliant. We'll always have Paris. This looks like the start of a good French. Anyway, great movie, Casablanca. And so I wanted to watch it last night, but I didn't feel like digging out the DVD in my basement, especially after the plumbing incident that I had here recently. I didn't feel like digging around for that last night and tripping over myself in the basement because I still got piles of stuff all over the place from when the pipe, we had a problem backup. But so I went and looked on Roku, and I looked to see if I had it, and you had to pay, and I wasn't going to pay for it because I have the DVD. So I said, well, let me look up The Maltese Falcon, because I love that too. The Maltese Falcon is a great movie too, with Mary Astor, Humphrey Bogart, Sidney Greenstreet. I love Sidney Greenstreet. Peter Lorre. So that's a great movie. So I looked up, and I found that I could watch that over some classic channel for free. So I played The Maltese Falcon last night. That was awesome. What a great movie, man. The Maltese Falcon. What a great movie. What an incredible movie. The next 007 needs to be a black woman who identifies as a white male. Talk about old movies. They were good. Remember The Good, The Bad, and the Ugly? Oh, well, those are spaghetti. Those are spaghetti westerns. Those were great. Sergio, what's his name? That's the guy who did those with Clint Eastwood. The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah, High Plains Drifter, Pale Rider. Yeah, those were great movies. I loved the Clint Eastwood movies. I got all those. David Pierce just subscribed. Wow, a subscription. Oh, get all excited. Thank you for subscribing, David Pierce. Very excited about that. Talk about old movies. Sergio Leone, thank you, Clem Malinaric. Those were his spaghetti westerns, mostly filmed in Spain, but supposed to be the Southwest. Great movies, man. Great movies. Idris Elba would make a good Bond. Actually, Stevie, I agree. Idris Elba would make a good Bond. And the argument that one could easily make, because some people think, well, he has to be a white English guy. No, Bond is a designation. 007 is a designation. And when one Bond gets killed, they give it to the next Bond. Simple as that. So Idris Elba would make a great Bond, although he's getting up there in years. He would have been good as a Bond 10 or 15 years ago, but he could still pull it off now. He could pull off Bond. Yeah. So another Gregory Peck movie, Pork Chop Hill. Oh, Pork Chop Hill. That had Tony, what's his name? Beretta. Tony, what's his name? I can't think of his name. The guy was it Tony? Used to supposedly shot someone. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, that was Pork Chop Hill. That was his first film. The guy that played Beretta. But yeah, Pork Chop Hill was one of the films I saw as a young kid. Very influential. Pork Chop Hill was pretty desperate. Wild Geese is good, but it's kind of far-fetched, and the acting's a bit weak, and it is good. It's good. Tom Hardy, okay, I'll buy that. Tom Hardy for 007, that'd be a good choice. Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones is good, but we need something new in the franchise. Yeah. Captain Seakelt is back. Where the hell have you been? What are you talking about? You're talking about somebody's boat. Tony Beretta. Yeah, that's the character. But what was the actor's name? I can't think of his name. Beretta. If you can't do the time, don't do. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Tony Blake. That's the actor, isn't it? Yeah, Robert Blake. Robert Blake was the actor. Robert Blake's first role that I ever saw him in was Pork Chop Hill. He was very young. Robert Blake. He's 87 now. Wow. Robert Blake is 87. Wow. Yeah, Pork Chop Hill. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, Beretta was awesome. That was one of my favorite shows growing up. I love that show. Yep. So he was born in 1933. He's 87 years old. I had no idea he was 87 years old. Wow. Of course, his real name is Michael James Gubitosi. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was a child actor. Yep. He was in our gang, Little Rascals. That's right. He started out in Little Rascals. I forgot about that. Yep. That's right. Yep. Wow. And when did he do Pork Chop Hill? It must have been in the 50s. Let me see. Pork Chop Hill. Gosh, he had a lot of roles. He has had a long career. He was in PT 109 as well. Wow. I didn't realize that. Robert Blake. Jenny says, I'll be back. Okay, well, we're looking for you. We're looking for you to come back. Yeah, Beretta was a while ago. Beretta was 75 to 78, if I recall correctly. Yep, Tony Beretta. Robert Blake. Wow, what a time, folks. That was something else, wasn't it? That was something else. Oh, by the way, folks, so listen, here's some news. The South African government has imprisoned some terrorists. Yes, some breaking news. This is from Tom Head on the South African website. They have imprisoned some terrorists. So I know you're all excited, but don't get too excited. It's not Julius Malema. It's not Julius Malema. It's not anyone in the Economic Freedom Fighters, much to your chagrin, much to my chagrin. The terrorists that they have arrested are the dangerous group of men from the Crusaders. So 2 men who formed a right-wing terrorist cell have been put behind bars this week, more than a year after they were arrested for planning extremist activities. The Crusaders group that plotted to overthrow the government of South Africa with serious strategic attacks were rumbled by the Hawks 13 months ago. Eric Abrams and Errol Abrams, both in their 50s, had targeted key military and police locations. Their sick plan, okay, that's not objective, also involved a desire to kill South Africa's black citizens by blowing up informal settlements, making a diabolical statement about everything Crusaders are ready to stand for. The extreme right-wing figures were charged with the following offenses: preparing to carry out terrorist attacks, financing a specified offense, terrorism, unlawful possession of prohibited firearm, unlawful possession of firearm, unlawful possession of ammunition, unlawful possession of more than 200 cartridges. Yeah, okay. So how much time did they get here? Found guilty, convicted today in the Middleburg Regional Court. Okay, so I guess their sentence hasn't been done. So it's good to know. I'll let you know that the African National Congress government is busy out there finding terrorists in South Africa and convicting them of their crimes. Sadly, they're not going after the most dangerous terrorists, not these pathetic little right-wing groups that have virtually no impact and have harmed no one, although they're a legitimate thing to go after. But the incitement to terrorism caused by Julius Malema and members of his leadership team, the Economic Freedom Fighters, inciting people to murder white farmers, have been arrested, in exhorting their followers to burn farmers out of their homes and causing arson, not arrested. Sending people to terrorize and destroy Click's retail stores at 44 locations across South Africa, not charged with a crime. So apparently terrorism only matters based on the pigmentation of your skin. Well, let's say that's bullshit. Terrorism matters regardless of your pigmentation, regardless of your orientation, regardless of your political beliefs. If you're a terrorist, you're a terrorist. Pagad was a terrorist group, people against gangsterism and drugs. The fact that they were colored shouldn't matter. The Boermag was a terrorist group. The fact that they were white shouldn't matter. The actions of the economic freedom fighters are the actions of domestic terrorists, and it should not matter to the judicial system in South Africa. There should be charges filed against Julius Malema and leadership of that party for inciting domestic violence and terrorism. Why isn't it happening? They got 8 years. Harry Knoson's trial next year, leader of the Crusaders. Another year. Stand together, says Jenny. Reminds me of the methods the previous apartheid regime used to suppress liberation movements. You mentioned today that it was a significant date for the Electoral College. Any significant development in restoring the truth? No, I haven't seen any news stories, although we do need to look and see what I can check this out very quickly. If we got anything from the Supreme Court. I'll just do a search on the Supreme Court because today the lawyers for Pennsylvania and for the plaintiffs who were suing about let me see if there's any news here. Texas filed a lawsuit. There's nothing here in Pennsylvania. This morning at 9 o'clock, the lawyers for Pennsylvania who were defending the criminal unconstitutional actions of the executive and the judicial branch of this state to allow an unlawful, unconstitutional mail-in balloting process to continue in violation of the law and of the Constitution. Now, a lawsuit was filed by a U.S. representative and a candidate for state representative, both Republicans here in Pennsylvania. It was denied here in Pennsylvania by the compromised Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, which has proven it's feckless and doesn't respect the rule of law. That case was appealed to the Supreme Court, and this morning at 9 o'clock, Justice Alito directed both the state of Pennsylvania and the plaintiffs to have their briefs in front of the court so they could review it to decide whether they would take on this case or not. So no news on that. But we do know that Texas is suing Pennsylvania, among others, for these election results. And let's talk about that, folks. Yep. So I don't know what's going on. So this is, Pennsylvania filed their brief this morning. Let's see what this says. It's probably one-sided reporting. So let me get this up here very quickly. It's taking a long time to load that. So let me go ahead and get the Texas case up here, folks. So Texas asked the Supreme Court of the United States to throw out Pennsylvania's election results as Democratic officials press for an end to frivolous GOP litigation. Increasingly hobbled by coronavirus, shaky legal arguments, and in one striking instance, opprobrium from a member of their own party, President Donald Trump and his GOP allies took any more audacious steps Tuesday in their bid to reverse the outcome of Pennsylvania's election and bludgeon their way to a long-shot victory. Okay, let me fix – this is the Philadelphia Inquirer. This is a leftist rag. Let me just help them out. No one's seeking to overturn anything. We're simply seeking to have unconstitutional, unlawful actions removed. That's the remedy. Pennsylvania violated, according to the plaintiffs, the Pennsylvania Constitution. I happen to agree with them. Short of that, Pennsylvania also violated its own law, the law which the plaintiffs claim Act 77 violates the Constitution. Let's pretend it doesn't violate the Constitution. To me, that's not germane. The law, if it's legitimate, they violated the law. The governor and the attorney general, Josh Shapiro, and the Secretary of State all violated the law. 3 weeks before the election, or not 3 weeks, but 2 months before the election, they announced that they weren't going to follow the law, which is in question whether it's constitutional or not now. That's what this case is about. But they violated the law. They said that they would not require signatures on ballots that matched that of the voter in file. Why would you do that? Except to encourage fraud. They said that there would be no requirement for a postmark, despite the fact that the law says there must be a postmark, and that the signature must match that on file. And they said they would take the ballots after the election, despite the fact that Act 77 says the ballots must be in by the 3rd of November, Election Day. So the governor, the attorney general, and the secretary of state all announced they're going to violate it. This went up to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, which has 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans. And they said that the governor could do this. He can't. And the court can't make that ruling. They don't have that authority. That went to the U.S. Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court abrogated its responsibility as the high court and sent it back to Pennsylvania and told them to administer the election because it's a state issue. And they gave specific instructions. Associate Justice Samuel Alito told Pennsylvania that it must segregate all mail-in ballots and keep them separate and accountable. Now, I don't know if they did or didn't do that in different counties, but I do know that in Philadelphia County, there are allegations that they commingled those ballots with Election Day ballots. I don't know if that's true. I can't account for that. But nobody in the press seems to be wanting to ask the question, is that in fact true? Nobody from the Philadelphia Inquirer has gone to the Philadelphia Canvassing Board and asked that question, have interviewed anybody to tell us that it's not true. Why are journalists not doing their job? Well, simple questions. If there's nothing to this, it's easy to dispel. If, in fact, the claim by the Trump campaign that 682,000 ballots in Philadelphia and Allegheny County were counted out of sight of the election observers, if it's not true, that's easily provable. Go interview the people from the canvassing board. What are they talking about? The Trump campaign claims this. Is it true? And if they say no, ask them if they're willing to sign an affidavit to that effect and take an oath. If they aren't, and if you don't ask them, then there's something going on here. Why does the media not want to ask questions? Folks, this is an attempt to steal the election. There's no other answer. And all these people, my former colleagues and people I know and family members who delude themselves into saying there's no evidence, you're wrong. There's more evidence. There's mountains of evidence. There are freaking molehills and mountains of evidence all over the place in all of these battleground states of fraud. And so your narrative that there's no fraud didn't work. There's no evidence of fraud. That didn't work. There was no evidence of widespread fraud. That didn't work. We even have photographic and video evidence of fraud being committed. And we still have officials denying it, Republicans and Democrats. Why? Do you know why? Because Donald Trump upset the leftist global order narrative. He attacked China, and they're all slaves to China. They profit from China by shipping all of our jobs over to China, by letting China invade our information systems, our computer networks, build our components for our jet fighters, making us vulnerable to China. This is not an anti-China screed. It is an anti-Chinese Communist Party, I'll say that much. Why? They're all in the bag. And if you think that we are all going to be sold down the river, the last leg of this race that they've been pushing us towards, notice the narrative. The media, academics, China will overtake the United States in 2010 as the world's largest economy. No, it won't. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, you see the narrative? Well, now it's 2030. Bullshit. The Chinese economy, if it was even remotely as efficient, productive, and effective as the American economy today, with their 1.5 billion people, their economy would be $120 trillion a year. What is it? $13 trillion a year. And they've only got $13 trillion a year because of the collusion of major corporations in shipping their jobs and production to China and ingratiating them with wealth. And they're cheating. Theft of intellectual property, violation of copyright, trademark infringements, which they do every damn day. There are formal and informal illegal trade barriers to prevent other products and services from other countries from entering China. That's the only reason why they've amassed this wealth. This is collusion on a grand scale. The Democrats like the term collusion. Well, I got collusion for you. The media, the Democratic National Committee, and Democratic election officials, as well as many Republicans in this country, around the country, you've sold us down the river for your own personal gain. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Lisa Janssen, they do need to ask any questions. Well, I mean, come on. We know. So this, Mr. Vice President, did you get chocolate or vanilla? Did you get sprinkles on your ice cream? Are you serious? How about this question? Mr. Vice President, where's Hunter? Did you, in fact, are you the big guy that's mentioned in the documentation about the bribe from the Chinese officials? Is that you, Mr. Vice President? Mr. Vice President, during the 1988 presidential campaign, you dropped out of the race because it was exposed that you had plagiarized at university and you got caught and were kicked out. Is that true? Why did you plagiarize? Were you too lazy to do the work? Mr. Vice President, you famously were caught plagiarizing Neil Kinnock's labor speech. Why did you do that? Mr. Vice President, could you tell us about your legislative accomplishments in your 39 years in the U.S. Senate, aside from the 1994 crime bill? What other signature legislative items were your initiative or you were a co-sponsor for? Could you share that with us? Mr. Vice President, why did you argue against the raid to get bin Laden and tell the president that it was a bad idea? It worked, didn't it? Mr. Vice President, why is it you've been wrong about every single foreign policy decision in the past 40 years? Mr. Vice President, do you know what day of the week it is? Captain Seakelt likes the cap and sweatshirt. Well, it's not a sweatshirt. It's kind of like a sweatshirt, yeah. I'm not surprised you like the Captain Seakelt. This is a British and Irish Lions, and you've picked up on that very clearly. I could have gotten the red cap, but I figured the blue contrasted well with this. And hang on, I've got the jersey and the scarf. Hang on. Dead air. I got 2 more viewers. I got to do more dead air. So got the jersey as well. I ordered these a few months ago. Got a special. They were on sale. And there you go. There's the jersey. Check it out. Pretty cool, huh? And this one's nice. It's got these nice little flecks up in the sleeves. Let's see if you can see a little better up there. See the flecks? Pretty cool. Yep, that's the British and Irish Lions. And, of course, that's Vodafone, which is the British company, not Vodacom. And then the scarf with the Lions. Here you go. Got the logo right there, Canterbury, and then here for the British and Irish Lions on that side. But check out the backside, so you know that this was for the South Africa tour. Check it out, SA and the South African flag, the outline of it anyway. So there you go, folks. That's the British and Irish Lions, all set for the tour. Unfortunately, I have no tickets because of the bigotry of South African Rugby Union and only selling tickets to South African residents and then only opening up to UK residents, despite the fact that they allowed me to register for the site 14 months before they actually held the damn lottery, bastards. Anyway, I'm not going to pay some tour company $3,000 to put me up in the Hilton or in a Protea hotel and bus me around to the games. I want my tickets. I'll find my own hotels, and I'll get my own transport. Anyway, so pretty cool stuff. Flips out of here. Long day tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Take care. Do you think there's enough time for Trump to get things done? Yes, Fred and now. We have until January 21st. That's what we have until. But the key date from this point on will be the 5th of January. And we may or may not see something unique happen. I mean, there is a very real possibility that on the 5th of January, that the joint session of Congress, the House and the Senate vote to accept or reject the electors is a very real possibility that the House, remember, this is the current House, not the incoming House. The current House, which is Democrat control, will accept the results as long as Biden's winner, and that the Senate, very real possibility, they will reject it. If that happens, then we've got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. So there's a lot going on here. Chris says we should rather use robotics with 5 workers to produce our own parts at decent prices. That's 5 jobs saved. Never mind the purchase of goods and materials, all staying local, trading only with trusted. Yep. Hello, Santa. Can you give us Donald Trump for South Africa for Christmas? A lot of Americans don't appreciate what they have. Well, I agree with you, Sirius, or Circus Cyrus, the virus, Heidfeld Lion. Sorry. Yeah. In fact, it is a real possibility that on January 22nd, Donald Trump will be available, and you may be able to take him in South Africa. My mother's birthday. What's your mother's birthday, Brom? Today? Happy birthday to your mom. Okay, what else we got here? Countries and friends, we should never be in a position that we're stuck for goods from cheap China. I agree. We should never be in that position, folks, but we do find ourselves in that position. It's pretty scary stuff. Let's see if that other thing loaded that I want to hear. Here we go. Yeah, Pennsylvania has filed its brief requesting Alito, urging SCOTUS to reject the bid by Trump allies to nullify Biden's win there. Court being asked to undertake one of the most dramatic, disruptive invocations of judicial power in the history of the public. Says Greg Storr, whoever Greg Storr is. Meanwhile, Texas Attorney General says he's seeking a lawsuit directly at Supreme Court against Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan to block their elections. Yeah. invoking the court's original jurisdiction, which lets states sue one another directly at SCOTUS. It's more common. Yep, exactly right. That's what I said. The Supreme Court exists for states to challenge each other. Yep. Okay. So this is a preliminary statement. Let me see this here. So petitioners asked this court, the Supreme Court, to undertake one of the most dramatic, disruptive. This is what the Pennsylvania judicial power in history of republic. No court has ever issued an order nullifying a governor's certification of presidential election results, and for good reason. Once the door is open to judicial invalidation, it will be awfully hard to close the door again. The loss of public trust in our constitutional order resulting in the exercise of this kind of judicial power will be incalculable. Wisconsin voters, all versus Wisconsin elections. Okay, well, let me share a little something with Mr. Greg Storr here, okay? Listen, my friend, if you think that that decision by the court is going to invalidate confidence in the Constitution, what do you think the fraud that's taken place here? 682,000 ballots not counted in front of observers. Why is that? 87%, 84% of ballots mail-in going for Biden, when only 67% of the registered voters who requested mail-in ballots were Democrat. Something stinks. Delaware County, Pennsylvania, officials leaving polling stations and the courthouse with the chain of custody documents and the original voter rolls. The chairman of the board of elections needing to send an urgent email out begging them to come back on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, saying, oh, please come back and bring the documents back. We can't certify the election results. Chain of custody is broken. You'll never be able to certify those. That's fraud. The state of Pennsylvania certifying the election results of Delaware County is fraudulent if, in fact, that's true. But we don't know if it's true. Do you know why? Because the media has no interest in asking the question. They've wasted a month intentionally. A month has passed. A month and 5 days. So they can slide this fraud past the court. If you think that this doesn't undermine the faith in the Constitution, then you are a clueless buffoon. Mr. Greg Storr, Supreme Court reporter. He works for Bloomberg News. That tells me all I need to know. Clearly not an objective reporter. 62 likes. What's going on? You guys don't like this stream? You got a small audience, 62 likes. I'm feeling bummed out here. That sucks. Just 62 likes. That's terrible. That's terrible. How much longer do you foresee global travel be restricted at current levels for global sleep state? Well, Invictus, if Donald Trump loses, I expect to see all of 2021 washed away. And what will happen is that commercial airlines will be destroyed. States will issue money, cause hyperinflation, impoverish billions of people. And they'll confiscate and industrialize and nationalize industries all over the world. Then they'll start state-run airlines in which the officials can pander the aircraft to their personal use and abuse at any time. The rest of us will never be able to get flights. That's what I envision happening in 2021, unless Donald Trump sorts this out and we get past this and we get back to reason. This has all been about getting rid of Donald Trump. And so far, it's working for them. Pretty scary stuff. Pretty scary stuff. For globalist, deep state, strange way to promote one world order. No, it's not a strange way at all. They're trying to destroy free market capitalism. They're trying to make people dependent on the states. SASA grants, they love that. No money, they don't care. They'll confiscate it from people. That's what they'll do. Folks, you need to watch Brazil. 1984. Read 1984. Read Animal Farm. Those are pale comparisons to what's happening now. Do you see what's happening in California? A woman complies with their asinine regulations for COVID-19, which have no benefit whatsoever. They have no scientific proof. But she complies with it. How? By spending $80,000 to set up an outdoor area with shields, face mask, social distancing, the tables, the cleaning stuff, temperature testing for her guests. She does all that to comply with the rules. Only for Los Angeles to change the rules and put her out of business and put all her employees on the street. This is intentional. There's no benefit from that. I don't want to hear about the second wave. There's no such thing as a second wave. It never stopped. They lied to you. They're lying to us now. That's the truth. That's the truth. And they're unwilling to accept it. Global Soviet Socialist Union. Yep. Orwell was right. Yeah, the one. But he had no idea. Orwell is a rookie, man. Orwell couldn't even predict how serious this is. Can you imagine this? A mother nursing her child on the sand because her child is upset. And rather than causing a fuss and distraction, she nursed the child. Arrested. Police not wearing protective masks. Her and her partner taken to prison or to the police station, excuse me, thrown in a holding cell. They ask if they could call someone to come collect their child so the child's not exposed. No. Anyone comes to the police station, even with a mask on, they'll be arrested. Excuse me? She's a foreign national. I don't know what happened to that story. Was she deported because she's an undesirable immigrant to South Africa now because she has a criminal record? Because she was charged? By the way, that law isn't a law. It's a policy. And she was charged with a criminal offense. She didn't commit a crime. She and 250,000 South Africans were charged with criminal offenses by the National Coronavirus Command Council's dictates, which are not law. And the North Gauteng High Court, as fickle as it is, found that to be unconstitutional. What's the status? Why is nobody in South Africa reporting on this, folks? Why is nobody in South Africa reporting on the fact that the dictates of the National Coronavirus Command Council were determined to be unconstitutional in June of this year? June, July, August, September, October, November. We're into December now. 7 months later. What happened to the 250,000 people charged with crimes that were not crimes? Whose lives the government sought to destroy? By the way, almost all of them are white or colored. Gee, you think there might be a coincidence there? They're almost all in the Western Cape. Nobody in the township's being arrested for this after they murdered a dozen black South Africans. What's the status of that? Why is there no reporting on that? I would like to see a news story to tell me what happened with those people. No follow-up. Actually, I should talk to Roman because he interviewed one of the guys who was arrested in Western Cape and find out what happened with his case. All under the carpet. Nobody, where's no interest in talking about this? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They did lie about COVID from being. Good night, Karen. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. Hey, Yanni's here. Yanni, did I not send you a sexy looking computer, man? That was awesome. I sent him a picture of this awesome looking computer. Yeah. Nothing has happened. No MPA has not put one case in the docket. Really? People had court cases scheduled for August. So do these people just have to walk around with this hanging over their heads forever? Are they prohibited from leaving the country? That's a question I have, Tion. And why aren't these going before the docket? Why aren't they simply dismissed? They should all be dismissed because they're baseless. There's no crime committed here. Nothing to see, ladies and gentlemen, nothing to see. Who was on Fox News yesterday? I hear that one of the conditions South African Airlines bailout is that they may only employ black pilots. Yeah, I heard that too, but that was from Bloomberg, and I can't get any confirmation of that. Talk about racism. Racism. Wow. Jenny said, I read that Ramaphosa got paid $5 billion as a bribe to adhere to COVID regulations. Jenny, I have no evidence that I haven't heard that anywhere. Chris, that was computer porn. I was teasing. I was trying to get Yanni's opinion on a couple computers because I'm getting a little frustrated that my motherboard only goes up to 16 meg. All I wanted to do was put a new video card in and increase my RAM, and that should be as simple as buying a video card for $150 and some RAM for $50. But I can't do that because I'm going to have to replace the motherboard because it can only handle 16 gigs of RAM. And it can also only handle 300 watts of power. And the video card I want to put in requires me to have at least 500 watts. So I'm going to have to do something about that. So, excuse me. So, yeah. Where is the flying board tonight? He's missing tonight too. Wow, we have an interesting audience tonight. Yeah, Jenny, I'd love to hear that, but I haven't seen that anywhere. Pravin Gordhan said only black pilots for next essay. By the way, still haven't paid anybody in 8 months. Yeah, I know that. Whoa, Yanni Thundervault. Merry Christmas. Well, thank you, Yanni. Small down payment on your new Beast of a PC. I haven't bought one. I'm just looking at it. I'm going to have to cobble together some money. It's going to take a lot more than that, so I'll put together some money. With the sudden cost of going to the dentist today and then fixing the plumbing, and anyway, the unexpected expenses popping up. Also, this month I'm going to have to pay by January my camera's acting up again. I'm going to have to pay my medical insurance now that I'm a retiree. I have to pay for the insurance, so that's going to come up this month too. So blame germ warfare. Blame germ for what, man? I'm happy to do that. What did germ do? Mark Oppenheimer has never been on Chris White Africa. I don't have any contact information for him. And all his buddies, Ronaldo and Roman, never shared that with me. So I don't know how to contact Mark Oppenheimer. I haven't found any contact for him. But yeah, I'd love to have him on. We could talk about that. He probably would know about that. Saw Fox Tucker with a stream of a Chinese professor speaking China. CCP has really infiltrated U.S. politics and Wall Street completely. Indeed they have. Sounds like an Apple problem. rotten apple. No, it's just the way that memory's being managed. That's the problem. It's just the way the memory's managed. It's really frustrating. Let me check on the flight, folks. It's supposed to be 4 o'clock. We're getting close to that. Let's see if anything's happening there. Let me get back over here to SpaceX because we're going to stay just in case the SpaceX actually does the launch. It's supposed to go about 4 p.m. is the last information I had. And so I'm reloading the page now. And here we go. This is the Starship launch of the SN8 mission. Let's see if anything's happening. And nope, still waiting for liftoff. I got a feeling they're going to scrub it for today, folks. It's going to be dark here before too long. But that is supposed to be happening at 4 p.m. now. It's supposed to happen at 11 a.m. this morning. Yeah, well, the Chinese have been infiltrating us for decades, folks. And we've got governments that refuse to acknowledge the reality that they're a threat to us. And they want to play these little games with us. Let's see what else. Yeah, I saw Pravin Gordhan say that, but Pravin Gordhan can't make law, can't make policy. That's okay. The camera is just acting up again. I got to stop this. It's driving me nuts. It's stupid software from. Well, let's do this. Let's put something up on the screen. I'll put Chuck Yeager up there so that we can actually look at Chuck Yeager rather than have a blank screen here. Where's Chuck Yeager at? There he is. Okay, that's from the New York Times. Let me put that up while I close my camera, folks. Okay, let me close my camera now and restart the damn thing. So. Thank you for the super chat, Yanni. I very much appreciate that. It's pretty cool. Watching on my smart TV. Yeah, I watch YouTube on my smart TV too. It's surprisingly that it comes out pretty good. It's not grainy. It's impressive. It's really cool. I use Roku. That's a really awesome device. I love Roku. So Chuck Yeager 97, World War II Ace, Air Force General. Yep, that's the story I was reading to you guys from earlier. So it looks like my camera's almost back and ready. So let's see if it's back up. Boom shakalaka. There we are. That's a little bit better. Yeah, Rob, smart TV, it's a good way to do it. I watch on my smart TV. In fact, I just got a HDMI, not splitter, but what's the word I'm looking for here? Anyway, I got a device today because I don't have enough ports. Oh, and now it's saying I'm not getting enough video. What the heck is going on here? I love this crap. So let me see what's going on with my resources. My PC is 90%. Streamlabs using 42% of my PC. What is that all about? That's just crazy. And my browser is using that bit, so that's strange. Yeah, see, I'm tired of this. It's the way it's using. It's not even virtual memory because 14% of my disk is in use, so it's not that. Yanni says, I had similar issues. I uninstalled Logitech Capture and installed Logitech G Hub instead. Interface is different, but gets the job done. Okay, let me check on that. Thanks for that, Yanni. When I installed this camera on this computer, it was using the old version of software, and it was fantastic. Since then, there have been 2 updates, and each time it's got progressively worse with Logitech. So I'll take a look at that G Hub. Okay. Cool. Let me take a look at that and see if that solves my problem because it's really terrible. There's no point. So it's not the camera. The camera works great. And Yanni knows this. It's not the camera because when I use Zoom software and it's using the camera, I never have this problem. Never have this problem. Did you get Dodgy Joe suntan lotion for Christmas? Where is Boom Shakalaka? Hey, MF, good to see you there. No, Invictus, I've never had Mark Oppenheimer on the channel. He would be an interesting guest to have on. So if anybody's got a contact with him, please let me know. Roku left South African devices don't work anymore. Well, that sucks, Tertius. Roku rocks. I love Roku. It's fantastic. The only problem I have with Roku now is that I bought a Roku Ultra, and I had no problem with it. And suddenly, they've done some software upgrade recently. They're telling me I have to put a micro SD card in it. Like, why do I need to stick one of these into my Roku player? What's that all about? Why do I need to do that? Why do I have to waste a micro SD card for my Roku player just so it has the all my channels installed? They were installed before. It was never a problem. What the heck is going on? Here we go. What's this one? This is 64. There's a 64 meg one. Micro SD card. There you go. There you go. Put that back in the drive here. See, I got it all going on, folks. I got thumb drive sitting here. I got micro SD cards. I got it all. Ooh, look at that. There's chocolate from my advent calendar. I forgot to finish that. Forgot about that. That's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, I like the caterpillar Larsalis. Where'd you get that? That's a nice custom emoji. Did I see Big Daddy Liberty's log on woke language earlier today? Loved it. You should have him on again. Well, Andre, I have written to Big Daddy Liberty. He never answers his messages. I think I'll just call him. I'll just call him and see if he answers his phone because people keep asking for him to come back on. So he's never asked me on his channel. What's that all about? Laura Fry has asked me on her channel, but she's suffering from COVID right now. So We're waiting to see if she feels better on Saturday. So let's send our thoughts and prayers to Laura and hope that she recovers from this COVID. Anyway, so Laura has COVID. So, anyway, you should call him. He's always on the road. Yeah, I agree, Andre. I should just call him. But I hadn't done it before, so. All right, so Chuck Yeager, aviation, aerospace, space pioneer, passed away yesterday at the age of 97. In good company with Dawn Lindbergh and my mother. All passed away yesterday, December 7th, 2020. All in good company there. So it must be quite a queue at the pearly gates today. Quite a queue. They're all lined up there, seeing who gets to go through. Lars Salas, the caterpillar becomes a butterfly. That's awesome. Well done. Well done. Yeah. By the way, folks, I have some more rugby jerseys inbound. Ones I ordered a while ago that weren't shipped yet, waiting for them to be shipped, and others I just got at a super discount. And one, I wanted it so badly because it was so inexpensive, but all they had was medium and XXX large. So I bought a XXX large. So I'll have a sale that I'll be wearing soon when it comes in. And I'll hold that surprise so you guys can see what it looks like when it comes in. All in the VIP queue. Ah, good deal. Well said, Andre. VIP queue at the pearly gates. We have a ladybug and a bumblebee. Lars Salas has got all the nature icons. That's cool. Well, thank you for sharing. Well, we're up to 73 likes. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. The one says, how big is your jersey collection? I don't know. I estimate it's 70 to 80 rugby jerseys. But when we say all rugby stuff like this, sweatshirts, T-shirts, it's well over 100. Yep. Freda, now it's off. Have a good night, Freda. Thank you for being with us tonight. 5XL sits a bit tight for me. Whoa, Tertius, you're a big person there. I would have already thought Chuck earned his wings. He did earn his wings. Yeah, my jersey collection, the one is quite large. Speaking of which, the one, what's going on in Nigeria, man? It's been quiet lately. Haven't heard much about Nigeria since we did a little bit of coverage of it a few weeks back. I haven't paid much attention to the news in Nigeria. I need to pay more attention to it, not get distracted by things. With my mother's health declining, it's been a big distraction the past few weeks. Now that she's passed, once we get through the memorial service, then maybe I won't be as distracted. So we'll see what's happening. Margarita says heartfelt condolences to your mom. She's a peace now. She is. Thank you, Margarita. Yeah, she was suffering. So the cancer hit hard there at the end. So thank you very much for that. Laura Fry is a genuine lady, kind and gentle, wishing her a swift recovery. Looking forward to that interview. Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. I enjoy being interviewed by people, folks. It's kind of cool. But tomorrow here on Chris White Africa, I'm going to have, and I didn't get a chance to make that marquee. I'm going to do it after this. You're going to have Harry Bennett on, Australian rugby player who plays for Rugby United New York here in New York. So we'll have him on tomorrow. Sorry to hear about your wee ma. Sending my deepest condolences. Well, thank you there, Captain Seakelt. Sadly, we all have an expiration date. I don't mean to say it in the crass fashion, but we all do pass away at some point. I'm not aware of anybody that's been on here forever on the planet. So let's get the most out of life when we can and enjoy it as best you can. Make it the best experience you can in life, folks. It's really important. Thank you, Lisa Janssen. Lisa Janssen, thank you very much for that. I think you said when you were in school, the Spanish kids would not talk to you. Did you have the beard? No, I was in primary school, Richard. That was in Buffalo, New York. We moved there when my father kidnapped us and took us up there. I was put in a very poor district, poor neighborhood. And apparently all my classmates, they must have been Puerto Ricans because they spoke Spanish. And when the teacher was in the classroom, they could speak Spanish. When we were on recess and break, suddenly nobody spoke Spanish. Why? Because they were comfortable, or nobody spoke English. They were comfortable speaking Spanish, so I was the only one in the class who didn't speak Spanish. And how am I supposed to? It's Buffalo, New York. How the hell am I supposed to speak Spanish? I grew up in Maryland and around the country. So, so they wouldn't talk to me. So what lesson did I take from that? Did I take from that Spanish is a wonderful language? No, I took from that people who speak Spanish are rude, disrespectful, and bigots. No, that's not what I took from it. What I took from it is that I don't like being excluded. You know, people are inconsiderate, and that I need to be considerate of others, and that's the lesson I took from that. Yep. Nigeria busy figuring out new ways to remove your money from your wallets. Well, they're not alone, Chris. That would be the Washington, D.C., Harrisburg, Albany, Pretoria. Take your pick. They're all doing it. Winston Young says, condolences once again. No, it's all right, Winston. There's no problem with you repeating yourself. I don't mean to keep talking about it, but it keeps coming up, so no worries. Germ Warfare finally finished his live stream with Doc. Oh, that's why my audience is small. Germ Warfare is stealing my audience. What the hell is he doing during my time? That's it, Germ. It's on, buddy. I thought you weren't broadcasting. You weren't available for streams. You told me you couldn't do the stream with me because you were busy. You were busy. It's the holidays. You don't have time. Uh-huh. You don't have time to do a live stream with me, but you got time to intrude on my hour. Uh-huh. I got you, Jerem. I got you. I see how it is. I see how it is. Yeah, okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Lazan, are you coming over from Germ Warfare? Welcome to you. Well, we see a little bump in numbers here, folks. I was just about to end the stream. Germ is streaming? Yeah. Apparently Germ was streaming during my hour. Breaking the rules. Yeah, see that. Yep. Now I know why the audience was small. Germ is over, Andre. Did you not pay attention? Have you heard Steven Crowder's impersonation of the U.S. president? I can see your channel growing to the popular levels of the big ones that have come around for several years. Hang in there, Colonel. Well, it'd be pretty cool if it did, Invictus. Yeah, I'm not concerned about that. Folks, I am incredibly stoked that 20,000 people tuned in for this program, and we have 76 people right now, including 5 refugees from Germ. Yeah, right now. So I'm pretty cool. I'm happy about that. I'm sure it was interesting, Lazan, but it's also interesting that Germ is broadcasting at this hour. This is not when Germ normally broadcasts. I'm just saying. Long story short, Nigeria is trying to imitate the CCP and restricting free speech. Well, I agree with you on that one. That is absolutely the case. The last time we talked about Nigeria was when we talked with Ovigwe Egu a few weeks back about the shootings that took place with the police. German refugees. That's good. Yep, cool beans. So what else we got here? Anyway, yeah, so let me double check one more time on the flight, folks, and see if they're out there. I'm really kind of want to make sure we get the chance to see this. This SN8 mission, the Starship, is going to be incredible to watch this thing take off if it actually takes off, folks. It's very disappointing that it hasn't taken off yet. Nope, nothing yet. Let me look up and see if anybody else is streaming that right now and see what they've got going on. Embarrassed, been busy working. Who is Judy Markovitz? Good question, Andre Lowe. What is the cartel agreement on the South African tubers? No streaming conflict? No, Invictus. I'm just joking. Oh, okay, so in the interest of full, see, the software is dragging again here. Let me just be clear about this, okay? So first off, I'm not a South African YouTuber. That's the first thing. So let's be clear about that. I'm not a South African YouTuber. Okay, hang on a second here. Let me just make sure. There's someone else that's got this up saying it's going, but yeah. Give me a second here. I've got to wait for an ad to play. I'm not a South African YouTuber, so I'm not part of that conversation. What the hell's going on? This is dragging along here so slow, this ad. I'm forced to watch an ad. Anyway, but yeah, so no, there's no cartel. There's no cartel. I'm just joking. So I'll tell you a little bit of the history about my channel and why I stream at the times I did. So come on. I'm just making sure this thing hasn't launched yet because it's not showing up on the SpaceX channel. Okay, so these people have been streaming for an hour expecting to take off, and the channel's not even loading. So, yeah, that's crazy. So let me just try to get rid of. Yeah, it's still on the launch pad. So here, I'll just put up on the screen real quick. You guys can see this. It hasn't launched, so we haven't missed anything yet, folks. Here you go. This is the SN8 mission from SpaceX. Looks like a grain silo there. Look at it off in the distance. Yeah, so it has not launched. Flaps extended, but it's not going anywhere. So who knows what's going on here, folks? Yeah, so let me turn that off. I'm going to, yeah, and as soon as that's what I figured. Yeah, skipping frames. So stop it. Let me get rid of that. Come on. This is why I need a more powerful motherboard. So anyway, still waiting for it to come along. Anyway, so I just stopped that. So yeah, there's no cartel here. There may be a cartel in South Africa, but I'm not part of it, folks. Not in the least bit. And let me be clear about that. So here's the deal. When I started this channel, doing the live streams, I was trying to figure out what was a good time to do it, how to do it, what was the best way to do it, and so on. And I didn't want to intrude. So the big YouTuber in South Africa that people tend to watch, or one of the ones that I watch when it comes to politics, is Ronaldo Gos. So I didn't want to intrude his show. It was always at 8 o'clock every day. So I didn't want to intrude on that. So I made sure that my stream wasn't on at that time. And I tried to find the right time. I streamed early in the morning for me, which was early afternoon for South Africans. And I tried mid-morning, which is mid-afternoon. And I found that the best time for me was 11 o'clock, which made it 5 o'clock South African time. And I started doing that every day in May. And then in July, I think it was, suddenly Roman Cabernet from Morning Shot decided to start broadcasting the same time as mine. as my channel. He had a far larger subscriber base, and it had a big impact on my viewership. My viewership declined because people went and watched Ramon instead of my channel. I'm like, okay, well, nobody was streaming at this time, so that's why I picked it. So I decided to move my stream, and I moved it to noon. It made it 6 p.m. in South Africa, which interfered with a lot of people's dinner time, but, you know, whatever. I'm not interfering with Ramon's stream, and so that's when I moved it. And so it worked out pretty well. My channel grew, and I started doing my other stream at 9:35. People are like, why'd you start at 9:35? Well, because Ronaldo's program wouldn't end until 9. He often overran, and a lot of people who watch both of those channels also watch my channel. So I figured I won't compete with them. We'll just complement each other. But now Ramon is overrun his time, and especially with his Pod Bros. And I find that a big chunk of my audience, because the Pod Bros runs over 25, 35 minutes, doesn't tune into my show. That's fine. That's your prerogative. If you find that more entertaining, you're welcome to watch it. I don't compete with that. I just say it in joking fashion. And nobody streams at this hour except me. Finding Jeremy now broadcasting this hour is a bit of a surprise, but that's his prerogative. I don't own the time frame. I'm just another person broadcasting this time. Anyway, so, yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. I'm trying to get rid of some stuff here, so I'm trying to free up some memory. Let me just do this. I'm just going to close this entire window and see if that helps. Actually, it did help a little bit, but now my processor's sped up, so my goodness. Invictus says I'm honorary African. 9:35 has a nice ring to it. Yep. Who the hell is Germ? So, by times, Germ is Jeremy Nell. He's a graphic artist. He's a well-known personality in South Africa. Very well connected as well. Very nice guy. Great guy. Now suddenly my camera's not hanging up anymore. I just freed up some memory. Yeah. So he's a good guy, and his Lazon. I know. Lazon just hit. I think that's when his guest was available. Gotcha. That's why I'm joking. I'm teasing, and that's the thing. So I've actually been on once or twice during Ramon's time. Well, I call it Ramon's time. It used to be my time. And I've been on once or twice during Ronaldo's time because that's the only time my guest is available. So I'm just teasing. The channel seriously grew because the Senecal Colonel did really well with the stream. Well, thank you for the one, but it did grow that day, but it grew by 2,475 subscribers, but that was one day. I've also grown by 1,000 subscribers in a day before, by 1,200 subscribers in a day before, by 500, by 800. So it was well, but I mean, that's about 10% of my current subscriber base was on that day. So it did help a lot, and it was awesome. And we've got a lot of sticky viewers. People showing up as a consequence of that, so it was pretty cool. Wasn't she discredited as fake news 6 months ago? I have no idea. You're a part of the Pod Bros. Bram, I'm not part of the Pod Bros. I'm not a member of their channel, and I don't split their revenue. I don't know if they've monetized yet. So, no, I'm not part of it. But, yeah. Anyway, by the way, for anybody taking this seriously, relax, chill. That was meant in a joking manner about Germ being on at the same time. I was just teasing him because Germ, I've been trying to get Germ on the channel on a weekend, and he told me something, and I was clear. I understood what he said, and then after he said, oh, you didn't understand me, you weren't paying attention. No, I got it, man. You said you were available on that day. Anyway, so I've been trying to get Germ on the channel along with Tony Bronco. That's AF Bronco. He's also a political cartoonist here in the United States who goes after the left, and he's hilarious and does really great cartoons. Jeremy Nell from Germ Warfare is a political cartoonist and satirist from South Africa who goes after all things political there and also in the U.S. So I thought it'd be a really good stream to have both political cartoonists, one from South Africa, one from the U.S., on the channel at the same time. And Germ actually likes Tony Bronco. So Tony agreed to it. Germ agreed to it. I set it all up. It fell apart 3 times. And so I'm teasing Germ because he didn't have time to come on the channel. He said it's kind of busy. Let's try to do it in January. So we're going to push that off to January. But here is Germ interviewing people now. Anyway, so I'm just having a little bit of fun. Just having a little bit of fun, guys. What else? He's the Africanus. Well, you know, my nickname amongst my students at War College a couple years ago was Chris Africanus. Yeah, that's what they called me. I almost got a T-shirt with that, thinking about it. So, let's see. YouTube channel shows the progress of the launch. Lab Padre. Yeah, but it hasn't launched. It hasn't launched. Martin isn't launched. It's still sitting on the pad. What am I missing here? So there's no progress. There's no progress to the launch. It hasn't launched yet unless something happened. So, well, you must be part of it. Well, Brum, I'd be happy to be part of it. They asked me to call in one day, and I did when they first started, and I heard them chatting, and then Ronaldo said, well, Chris can be old bro. He's trying to be funny. Insult Joe Biden, EFF, publicly standing in front of CNN headquarters in your army outfit. Your audience will grow. It will. Actually, if I just go to Harrisburg to the State House and carry a placard around about election fraud, I might do that sometime soon. And just take my mobile and take my selfie stick and just extend it, carry my mobile around like this, walk around the State House and carry a placard about the stolen elections. That'll probably get me some attention there, don't you think? That'd be pretty cool. Should I do that soon, folks? I should do that. I should probably do that. That'll get some attentions. We'll check her out in a non-stalking way. Okay, who you guys talking about? You talking about that lady that Jerm interviewed? What else? But yeah, 935 has a nice ring to it. So it's the reason for the Night Owls, folks, is because I found out there were people who are looking for something to watch, entertainment, information at this, at late in the evening. And so I did it. But it does get a bit late for people to stick with the stream when it goes a couple hours because it runs up late. So Anel says, looks like and acts like one of us, but American also. Chris is an American who gets us, even our jokes. Chris is an American, African, in American language. Thank you, Anel. It's very kind of you. Bye-bye, donkey. What was your maternal grandfather who bestowed the name Chris on you? Was he an aviator? No, that was my paternal grandfather who was the aviator, and he wasn't a war hero. No. He never served in war. So my grandfather, Owen Truman Wyatt, was an interesting character. He was a genealogist. He was an aviation pioneer. He was a mechanical engineer. He was a pilot, and he was an SOB. He abandoned his wife and children in 1945. He had 5 sons. He abandoned them and ran off, and then eventually got divorced, left my grandmother with all of her sons. Yeah, so disappeared for years. He was only tracked down many, many years later by one of his sons, my uncle, who tracked him down and found him in Birmingham, Alabama, and that's when we learned more about him. That's when we learned all these things. I saw my grandfather on my paternal side one time in my life, and you saw a picture of that the other day when I did the tribute to my mom when I wasn't even 2 years old. And I actually remember that. He had a plane. I remember flying in that plane. It was a fixed-wing plane in Birmingham, Alabama, going down there. It's amazing that I remember that, but I do remember. I remember my entire life. Don't remember much else at that age, but I remember that. So that was my paternal grandfather. And, he had an interesting life. He also, I found out, lied. He cheated to get his Social Security money sooner. So he claimed his birth date was 1898, and it would cause a lot of confusion when I did genealogy. I went to looking for court records, went through the books of birth registers in Barber County, West Virginia, where he was born, not 1898. Looked up I finally got a copy of his military discharge record because my uncle, who's now passed away, my cousin's father, had it. I went to visit my uncle one day and took a mobile scanner and scanned all these things. And he had my grandfather's discharge paperwork, the original document, which is awesome. And so I could see the actual dates on there. And so it turned out that his Social Security application had a copy of that. He said he was born in 1898, which meant he could apply for Social Security 5 years sooner than he was eligible, and he did. So that's what solved that mystery. But my grandfather, he was an aviation pioneer. He knew Wiley Post, Amelia Earhart. He knew who's the guy, the raid on Tokyo. Jimmy Doolittle. He was Jimmy Doolittle's pilot, his personal mechanic at Love Airfield in Dallas, Texas. That's where Southwest Airlines headquartered, but military pilots flew out of there back in the day. And he actually has a letter of recommendation from Jimmy Doolittle, who was an executive at Shell Corporation in 1940. And he got Jimmy Doolittle to give him a letter of recommendation. He worked for a whole bunch of different companies, including the Perfection Stove Company, a Cleveland Car Company that no longer exists, Aero Spark Plug Company. He worked for the Ludington Line, which is one of the commercial, if not the first commercial air service here in the East Coast. He flew from New York to Philadelphia to Baltimore and back and forth, on the Ludington Line. Got a picture of my grandfather in the 1930s with Howard Hughes in front of a Ludington Line aircraft. He knew Howard Hughes. Yeah, so he knew a lot of people, but, he abandoned his family. So met my grandfather one time. He had nothing to do with the name. My maternal grandfather, who gave me the nickname Chris, he was a tyrant from all accounts and kind of a mean guy. And anyway, so I didn't really know him, only saw him a few times as a kid, didn't know him very well. So the only grandparent from that side that I ever really knew from either was my grandmother on my father's side and my maternal and paternal grandmothers. I knew them better than my grandfathers. Because both have been divorced. So I knew my paternal grandmother, she was a nurse, and my maternal grandmother I knew. So I knew both of them. And spent some time with them as a kid. And then I had a grandfather from my first step parent who, but not by blood, but a grandfather by marriage, who was a rock star. He was a Merle's Marauder. He fought in Burma in the Second World War and was one of the 99%, of course, of the Merle's Marauders who were wounded or injured during the conflict and survived the war and fought against the Japanese there with the Merle's Marauders. He was quite an interesting guy. He was a bookbinder. He had really messed up fingers from the glue and the cutting and the binding. He was working in a book factory there in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And he was the only real grandfather ever to me. He actually looked down, as a grandfather, influenced me a lot, and I'll never forget him. That's Robert Fox Nicholson. He was a great man, and he was the only grandfather as such I ever knew as a grandfather to me. So he was amazing. And the first time I ever dealt with death, folks, but the first time I ever dealt with, is it launching? What's going on? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's going on here? Where's the damn window? Oh, I closed it. Shoot. I closed that window because it was acting up. Shoot. Okay, hang on a second, folks. Let me see if it's here. Is it launching now? My bad. So as soon as I shut down, they go launch. Is that what the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is? Is somebody doing that, or are you just messing with me? Come on. Come on. Load. Gee, many crickets. Are you guys just messing with me? Or is this thing launching? I'm trying to load it now. No, there's nothing here. What are you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 about? There's nothing there. It's not launching. You guys just messing with me? There's nothing going on. It isn't launching. Anyway, so let's go back to that. So yeah, sorry, I got distracted by that. I thought somebody told me launching. It's the best title maybe when Unite 40 Years of President would call Africanus. Chris Africanus, yeah. My grandfather would have 110 last week. Wow, that would have been something. Are we in the launch yet? No, we're not, MF. I just double checked. There's no launch yet. I don't think they're going to launch, so I don't know why Richard's doing that. He's just messing around. That's not cool, Richard. You caused me to waste a minute there. Okay, so talk about the RWAFF and other African auxiliary troops in the Burma front. The Royal West African, is that what you're talking about? They taste funny. Yeah, it might be lagging. Let me see where the delay is, because I don't think I have the delay, folks. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on my end, so. Countdown to a rant. No, there's no rant. No rant here coming. Trying to keep my jaw from bothering me, so. Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's a delay on my end, so it could be, but I didn't see one, so. Just waiting for it to connect. Yeah, so, come on. Yeah, Lab Padre was what I had on earlier, but Lab Padre, there's nothing launched. Not just on your end, Kyle. Okay, well, I'll see if it's my feed, if it's a problem. So, yeah, we slowed down in subscriptions this week, folks. We're not picking up subscriptions. It's kind of frustrating. And that's because they're probably taking subscriptions away. That does happen. Okay. All right, so let's see where we're at. So, just waiting for this to come up now, folks. Sorry about that. Red ants. Maybe it is red ants. Yep. Yep. I'm just looking for this. Looking good. It's looking good. Oh, first time I confronted death. Yeah, Victor, I hadn't forgot that. Yeah, no, I don't have a delay here. It's looking good on my end. Anyway, just double checking. So, yeah, the first time I confronted death was my step-grandfather, my step-grandmother, Stella Nicholson. She had cancer. And I remember she had arthritis, and her hands were just all messed up from arthritis. And I remember that. She was a lovely lady. We had good Thanksgiving dinners at her place. And then she got ill. She went to the hospital. I'm the eldest, and so I was close to her. And my stepfather let me go to the hospital to see her. And apparently that was because they thought she was going to die. And so he took me there, and I was too young to go in the hospital, but he slipped me in, came in the stairwell. We went in and went to see her. And I wasn't prepared for this. She was near death and was emaciated. She looked horrible. And I left there in tears. I was heartbroken because I loved her. I mean, she wasn't my natural grandmother, but she was by all effects my grandmother. And I was crushed. This must have been 1976, maybe 76, maybe 75, 76. So I was 10, 11 years old, and I was crushed, absolutely heartbroken by it. And we went home, and then they sent her home from the hospital. They brought her back, and she was great. She looked fantastic. She had an uptick, was looking well, and I think it must have been, she was going to die. Maybe it was medication. I saw her again, and she was well. And then a couple of days after that, she was dead. And that's the first time I dealt with death. I must have been 10, 11 years old. And it was a tough thing. And also dealt with death before that. Not death, but suicide attempt before that, when my father's girlfriend, my natural father's girlfriend, tried to commit suicide. That was a very unpleasant experience. Very unpleasant experience, particularly since she was screaming my name. So anyway, that's a little too much personal information, so we'll stop there with that. But, yep. Anyway, 87 likes. Okay. Slight delay. Sound maybe I'm just pedantic. Anyway, I have 3 likes and 66 chats. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? 66 chats. Anyway, yeah, I don't have 88 likes. I've got 87 likes, so maybe somebody didn't like something I said. But yeah, it looks like we're not going to be able to see the SpaceX launch, folks. Sorry about that. What I'll do, though, is once it eventually launches, is we'll just show the launch tomorrow. Assuming it goes up, and maybe it doesn't go today, maybe it goes tomorrow. But tomorrow, folks, please tune in tomorrow for the channel. We're going to have Harry Bennett on the channel, Australian rugby player who plays for Rugby United New York. He played sevens in Australia, also made a tryout for Super Rugby there. So we'll have him on the channel tomorrow. And then I'm waiting for a response from Major General Bantu Holomisa from the United Democratic Movement, the UDM, who has agreed to come on my channel, and the ball's in his court, just waiting for him to get back with me, and hopefully we can get him on the channel sometime soon. So that's what we're waiting for. Yeah, the SpaceX thing doesn't look like it's going to happen, folks. Does not look like it's going to happen. So that's unfortunate. It's a shame. Anyway, so probably tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. It'll probably be tomorrow we'll do it. Anyway, folks, any questions before we wrap up the stream? Anything that you guys have burning that you want to know, or something I missed? Anyway, so we started out this stream, and it was a tribute to Brigadier General Chuck Yeager, a genuine aviation pioneer and hero. We later talked about the passing of Dawn Lindbergh, and then, of course, mentioned my mom, too. So all 3 of them going on December 7th of 2020. So there's a long queue at the VIP line there at the pearly gates. So hopefully they can sort through and there's no delays, and everybody can get where they're going. But anyways, thank you all for tuning into this stream and for the earlier stream today. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Also for the relative well-behaved folks in the conversation. Lazan says, my granddad died of a heart attack in the park around the corner from our house. You were telling me about that. You were 4 years old. Yeah. Run to close my house, and 2 dudes help carry him home. Yeah, that must have been shocking for you at 4 years old. I can't imagine dealing with death at 4 years old. That's you wouldn't even know how to react. You don't even know if someone's dying. And Elle says, goodness to me, you have an interesting life, but everything turned out okay. My grandfather built tar roads here in Namibia. Now, you're in Namibia. I didn't realize that. You're part of my Namibian audience. I love Namibia. Please, let the people in the Zambezi district who have inability to think critically, please tell them that I actually love Namibia, because they can't think critically. They think because I write a report based on Namibian news sources and state the facts that I'm anti-Namibia, because they're just bigots. Yeah. So tar roads, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and churches, that's pretty cool. Yeah, no, I've had an interesting life thus far, folks, and we're just getting started. We're just getting started. The best is yet to come. So anyway, yeah, we'll chat on Telegram. Okay, thank you, Bram. Yeah, so I'll wrap up with a Giselle song since we got Namibians in the audience. Maybe if there's a mood for it, I'll either do Jan Spies tribute or I'll do Zeitvest. You guys tell me what you want to hear on the way out the door, Zeitvest or the Jan Spies tribute. You tell me. I'll play either one of them depending on what gets the most responses, and that's what's coming up for you. For the folks in Namibia and the folks in South Africa, you can appreciate it too, because of course it's an Afrikaans. All peace to everyone. Anti-Namibia with Giselle. Yeah, I know. Hendo, they're just racist and bigots. because I'm a white guy and I'm talking about it and they don't like what I said that these were suspected poachers shot on Sududu Island, according to reports from the Zambezi Police District and a statement from the Botswana Defense Force. No, they weren't. They weren't poachers. They were fishing. Okay, well, fishing can be poaching. They didn't have guns. You don't have to have guns to be a poacher. Anyway, and they just, all the bizarre stuff. So I did a second video about that because I was so angry about it. Jan Spies, side vest. It's 50-50. 50-50, 50-50. Don't make me toss a coin, guys. Jan Spies. Ooh, Jan Spies. Okay, well, Jan Spies pulls into the lead. Okay. Jan. Lars Salas changed his view. So Invictus voted twice. That doesn't count. You get one vote. And then Spies. Okay, it's going to be the tribute to Jan Spies. Bear in mind that this is a video recording of Jan Spies that Giselle plays. By the way, this is her newest song, and it's a tribute to Jan Spies. If you don't know who Jan Spies is, he was a Namibian Afrikaans speaker who was born in Namibia. His parents were from South Africa. He grew up in Namibia, went to Stellenbosch University, became a radio personality, or a television personality. He had a very long-running show called Spies and Du Plessis. He was a comedian, a satirist. In the 1970s, he returned to Namibia, where he spent the last 20 years of his life, and he's a legend. He's well-known in the Afrikaans community. So Jan Spies, that's who this is. He is from the vicinity of Maltehure, which is a German settlement and Spies, of course, is a German name, a settlement in Namibia, and Giselle went to the hotel in Maltehure to do a concert on her trip recently to Namibia when she visited her father, who's recovering from heart surgery. And so she went to Maltehure, did a concert, and did this specifically because he has family and relatives from Maltehure. And so this was done to honor Jan Spies. And that's what you're going to see. It's about 5 minutes. There's a little clip of him on television during the Spies and Du Plessis. And then Giselle performs her new song. This is the debut. We did this debut live last week. Not live, but I played it live for the first. No, I played it for the first time. We're waiting for Giselle's concert to be edited, and we'll play that sometime soon. Lezan says Spies and Du Plessis was legendary. Indeed it was, and that's what you're going to see. I knew he was dying and felt very helpless. I think that's why I went in the medical field instead of engineering. Lezan, I know how exactly you feel. When my father's girlfriend tried to commit suicide, she did so in our apartment, which was underground. One side, you just had a window that looked out at ground level, and so you went down the stairs to get to it. The back side of the building was at ground level too, because it was, different levels. But anyway, so she locked the door. We had tile floors. She sliced her wrist. And then my friend and I were out riding. My friend Goody, black kid next door, we're riding bicycles. We come back, and I hear her screaming. And we were playing. I might have been playing croquet. But anyway, she was just screaming, Chris, help me, Chris, help me. And we couldn't get the door open. We're just little kids. And I saw blood under the door. And we went to the window and looked down inside, and she was in there. There was blood all over the apartment, and we were helpless. Finally got somebody to help. They broke in the door, called the police, emergency services. She survived. She was put in a psychiatric institution. But the vivid memory I have of that, it was being helpless. There was nothing I could do. The helpless woman who was screaming, blood-curdling screams, Chris, screaming my name. And I must have been like 7 or 8 years old. It was horrific. And then when my father came home and we cleaned up, he put water all over the tile to wash up the blood, and it was like a sea of blood coming across. And I'll never forget that. I didn't go into the medical field, but it definitely stuck with me. And suicide is a horrific thing. Anyone has to deal with it. It's not a pleasant thing, and it's very unfair to those who survive it. I'm not talking about those who attempt suicide. I'm successful. If you survive it, you have to deal with it. So, yeah, pretty traumatic for a little kid, guys. I've told you I had an unusual childhood. So anyway, that was in my childhood. So this combat and Ebola and all this other stuff and COVID, this is just another walk in the park, ladies and gentlemen, stuff I went through. So yeah, I empathize with you, Lezan. As a 4-year-old, that must have been very disturbing, very scary stuff. Yeah, so Kyle says, thank you for sharing such a personal story. Yeah, no, it's these are stories I never shared in my youth because they were part of me and I didn't really share them with people. I kept them with myself, but, getting a little bit older there now, and what's the point of keeping them? So who knows? Yeah, it's been quite an interesting ride. Very scary stuff, Lezan. Okay, we're going to leave you as I promised with Jan Spies. Please smash the like button if you haven't done it already. Come on, what are you waiting for? Do you need someone to hold your hand? Here, let me help you. I'll hold your hand right down. It's right there. This side. Okay, right there. Push the button. See, it didn't shock. It didn't bite back. Just push the button. Likes. 90. See that? We just got 5 more likes. look, folks, I'm teasing, but it's easy to forget that people forget to push the like button because I watch programs and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't ever liked it. I go back after the fact and like it. So we're up to almost 100 now, 95. We got 8 more likes just because I did the begging. I got to do this e-begging. Please, sir, more soup. More soup, sir. Can I have some more soup? Just a little bit. Oh, 2 more likes. More soup, please, sir. More soup. Of course, now, it's hard to get more likes if those 65 people left actually have already liked, but we just try to push it up there. Thank you guys so much for that. 99! Woo! 99 bottles up here on the wall. 99. 100! We have achieved ascent. All right, folks, and with that, I'm going to play Jan Spies. Thank you for asking. Damn, Colonel, you certainly had some tough events in your life. Salute to how you overcome. Yeah, no, Invictus, I haven't even scratched the surface. Sorry I had to go through that. Been through a lot, too, as a kid. You don't forget. No, you don't. And in my view, you either break or you become stronger. You become just like a sword that's put through the heat, and you become tempered steel, and you learn to deal with these things, and you move on. Captain Seacout, we're over 100 now. Someone took one away. Anyway, folks, here is Jan Spies as promised. This is from Giselle. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow here. Please tune in. Please tune in for my Harry Bennett tomorrow. I really want to get a good audience for that, for my rugby interview. I'll put the banner up here shortly, and then you'll know where to find it for tomorrow. Share it with friends and family. Anybody that's a rugby fan, ask them to come on. Somebody go tell Gareth Mason about it, so he'll tune in, and maybe some of his audience come along too. Anyway, folks, we'll catch you later tomorrow, and then if any luck, we'll have Bantu Holomisa this week. And if things go well, if Laura is recovering from her COVID and okay with her voice, on Saturday, I should appear on her channel. Oh, I forgot. Tomorrow is Wednesday, right? Tomorrow is Wednesday. That's right. Tomorrow's Wednesday, the 9th of December. The inaugural Wednesday with the Colonel will be tomorrow night on Ronaldo Host's program at 8 p.m. I'll be on Ronaldo's program tomorrow, and we'll just be shooting the breeze about politics in the USA, issues in Africa, South Africa. So don't forget that. If you're not a fan of Ronaldo, come watch me. I'll be on Ronaldo's channel tomorrow. I used to come on at least once a month on the Sunday service. Ronaldo asked me to come on as a weekly guest, so I'll now be on Ronaldo's channel every Wednesday. Of course, that'll only work as long as people show up. If only 100 people show up, Ronaldo probably like, this isn't working for me. No thanks, Colonel. But let's get a bunch of people to show up so that Ronaldo goes, it's a good thing I asked the Colonel to come on. We should do this more often. But right now, as of tomorrow, it will be every night. Dion Herba says you become stronger. Indeed. All right. As promised, Jan Spies. God bless. Tomorrow, Harry Bennett, Ronaldo Jos, Night Owls. Maybe Saturday you'll see me with Laura Fry. Here you go, folks. Come watch you, not Ronaldo. Well, you can tune out Ronaldo and just pay attention to me. What's that? That shouldn't be on the screen. What the heck? Merry Christmas. Thanks for the super chats. Big one there, Yanni. Appreciate it.
Ek doen hom vanaand vir die heel eerste keer op 'n verhoog in Maltee. Hierdie een se naam is Jan Koffiekapitaal.
Waar is die plaas en watter? Ja, die old days. Ken jy dit? Verkies.
Hy sê om op toe nou weet sy hou nie daarvan die drukke kom toe terug.
Ryk, hy sê die hond rek sy nek, hy rek hom so lank om daar te ryk waar hy wil. Van daar so
Gids of is dit
Die wat?
Is u nou 'n gids of 'n veldwagter of 'n plaasoppasser of 'n wat?
Wat nou? Van wat nou?
Van beroep nou daar by wat is die plek Oldies?
Ja. Roep.
Beroep.
Ja. Praat. Ek luister.
En hy het hom uitgetrek en toe hy daar by die storthokkie instap, toe steek die by hom daar. Maar hy steek hom verskriklik aardig. En hy's by die hospitaal in en hy kry die verpleegster daar in die hande. Hy sê, suster, help. Sy sê nou maar, sy sal die dokter laat kom. Sy sê maar, meneer, vat hierdie vorm, vul hom net in naam, geboortedatum. Sy sê, meneer, en dan nou waar die by jou gesê. Hy sê vir haar suster, dit kan ek nie vir jou sê nie. Sy sê vir meneer, maar ek moet weet waar die by jou gesteek het. Hy sê, suster, vir jou kan ek dit nie sê nie. Hy sê, suster, gaan jy die vorm lees as ek hier ingevul het? Sy sê, ja, hy sê nie, dan kan ek dit ook nie skryf. Toe sê die ou nou maar, suster, as ek dan vir jou moet sê, waar die by my gesteek het, laat ek dit vir jou so stel. As dit vir jou is wat hy geprobeer steek het, dan was dit mis.
Maar hier om sy beek, nou rem ek met die kierie. En ek rem.
Maar ek sal maar
En ek rem.
hierdie vat. Pure plas, sê ek vir jou. Pure plas.
Jan, 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 die pille van die bos. Jan sny koring op die land. Die skriel lyk soos goud. En hy tel sy sente oor en oor.